Okay. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba da dun 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 ba ba dum ba ba dum ba dum ba dum ba dum ba 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 dum ba dum ba 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 dum ba dum ba dum bum ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 ba-dum 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 bum 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 ba-dum 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 dum da dum da 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 ba 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 Manos Greco, thank you very much for the €2. I'm afraid I don't know much about wireless earbuds, so I cannot give you much advice on that front. Uh, uh, hold on. This feels like a pants stream to me. This feels like the kind of stream where I'd wear pants. I don't know why. I'm just feeling it. How are we all doing? I hope we're all having a beautiful day in this lovely, what is it, Monday? Monday afternoon for me. I did not sleep that well. Eesh. I got a little bit of a headache. I'm tired. I'm grumpy. So let's see how good of a stream we can make out of today, huh? You know, I had me a doozy of a time prepping for today's stream. Because, as you all know, or at least as I assume most of you are aware, we just recently, the other day, had ourselves a bit of a terror attack down in Sri Lanka. What was it? 8 coordinated suicide bombings that were targeted at places of worship and at luxury hotels to kill predominantly Christians, it seems. Yeah, nearly 300 people dead. I'm not sure how many are injured, but probably quite a few. Now, that's an awful lot of people, and I'm not here to as a matter of principle, you know, I'm opposed to, um, I suppose. Jesus Christ, I'm tired. To belittle or diminish the severity of these attacks would, of course, be below me. It doesn't seem like anyone's really doing this, but as we all know, nobody actually gives a fuck about Sri Lanka. Look me in the eye. Good job. You didn't blink. Nobody gives a fuck about Sri Lanka. Nobody cares when people die in Sri Lanka. Nobody gives a shit about terrorist attacks in the developing world. None of us here give a shit about this, okay? Don't fucking lie to me. Hey, hey! Don't fucking lie to me. You don't give a shit about brown people. Don't you virtue signal in my face and down my throat. None of us give a shit. People die there all the fucking time. The only times in which that stuff, the death, the terror, the exploitation in the developing world, the only times when that becomes relevant to us is when it can be in some way filtered through the lens of Western political hegemony. And such a thing has happened today. Let's go on a Twitter. I'll catch you guys up on it. We search Twitter, and we go to Easter worshippers. The top two people listed, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Let's see, top comment. Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are devil worshippers. Is it any surprise they'd use the avoidant term Easter worshippers in regards to the hundreds of Christians slain on their holy day? All these politically correct politicians are tone-deaf sociopaths. Hashtag Easter worshippers. Drew James, thank you for the $2. My love for you is undying and I am rock hard. Well, this stream is going to, just for you, my friend, I'll cut the stream short of 4 hours so you don't get a priapism. If we can look, here, can we have the latest? People are going fucking insane over this Easter worshippers thing. I'll fill you guys in on the context. Look, fucking bastards. We're Christians, not Easter worshippers. And we got some cringy Deus Vult fan art here. My goodness. Chris Crystal 00812334. I do care about Sri Lanka. The day before the attack, I was talking about how badass their flag is. Also told my Filipino GF I wanted to visit. Well, wait for the dust to settle. Sri Lanka flag. Let's see. You know what? That is a really cool flag. I take it back. I care about the developing world now. What I'm getting at here is that if we this has become a social media phenomenon. It's gone viral. This Easter worshippers thing. If we go through, we can find every minute conservatives and butt-mad Christians posting about this. What then is the origin? The origin of this nonsense are two tweets from Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. We can give them a look. Let's see if I can. They tweet quite often, of course. Yes, here we go. From Barack Obama, the attacks on tourists and Easter worshippers in Sri Lanka are an attack on humanity. On a day devoted to love, redemption, and renewal, we pray for the victims and stand with the people of Sri Lanka. So that's Barack Obama. Now, if we go over to Hillary Clinton, mind me just bringing up chat on my phone. On this holy weekend for many faiths, we must stand united against hatred and violence. I'm praying for everyone affected by today's horrific attacks on Easter worshippers and travelers to Sri Lanka. There were a couple other left-leaning politicians and former politicians who made comments to this effect. They used the term Easter worshippers and rather than Christians, which is admittedly rather specific. I have seen news articles in the past use the term Ramadan worshippers to refer to the victims of terrorist attacks, which took place on the aforementioned holiday. But with that being said, this seems fairly innocuous. Now, of course, what people are saying on the right side of things, right-leaning people, they're saying that this is evidence of anti-Christian bias because during the Christchurch shootings, both Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton said, we stand with the Muslim victims. We must reduce violence against the Muslim community, and we must target white extremism, and so on and so on. So then people look at these tweets from both figures, and they say, well, why didn't they do the same thing denouncing jihadi extremism? The attacks were carried out by jihadi extremists. Why didn't they acknowledge that it was Christians who were targeted? There's a lot to unpack here. Obviously. So I'm gonna... Actually, you know what? Why would I talk about this. When my good friend Benjamin Shapiro, where's the Ben Shapiro show? Thank you.
This report said we must stand united against hatred and violence, murdered while going to church during Easter in Sri Lanka. So here's what she said about Sri Lanka. Quote, on this holy weekend for many faiths, we must stand united against hatred and violence. I'm praying for everyone affected by today's horrific attack on Easter worshippers and travelers in Sri Lanka. Okay, so do you notice the difference? No clear explanation of who was targeted. Easter worshippers, not Christians. Easter worshippers. Also, a holy weekend for many faiths. Well, I would be the other faith for which this is a holy weekend, right? This is Passover, so this is Pesach for me. I would be the other faith for which this is a holy weekend. It's Easter, and it's Passover also. We weren't targeted this weekend. There are lots of other weekends on which Jews are targeted. There are lots of days on which Jews are targeted that are not holy days. This was not one of those days.
You can get the gist. The gist of the accusations is they're condemning Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton for their non-specificity when, Ciancius, I'm an attack helicopter. That's so funny, guys, right? It's an attack helicopter. It's funny because trans people are mentally ill. So as I was saying, the brunt of the accusation is that Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton's non-specificity in their tweets, as compared to the tweets that they used to address the Christchurch shooting, are an indication that they are unwilling to A, acknowledge the victimhood of Christians, and B, acknowledge the perpetrators as being jihadi extremists. Now, I'm not a fucking baby, so when I get outraged at things, it's usually not the specific parsage of a former president and former first lady making tweets that address a situation in a developing country in a way which does not specifically denote perhaps the exact nature of the This is very nothing, you see. The only way in which one could reasonably convince themselves to get offended over this is if you believed, as many people on the right do, and if we want to look at those people, we can just browse Twitter. I saw a large bunch of Easter worshippers at church yesterday. We are Christians! Can anyone tell me what an Easter worshipper is? The media seems not to be able to say Christians, so they keep saying Easter worshippers. Guys, the Washington Post, the New York Times, all of the news articles that were published on the terror attack, they all said Christian. This isn't like the whole media is refusing to say Christian. It's just like a couple tweets. Oh, nice. We got some Nazi shit. Dear white people, you must understand that if Palestine becomes free means America and all Western nations would be free too. Of the Zionist gangs and elites, the Libyan wisdom says, if you want to kill a snake, hit the head. So here's the head of the snake. And it's a little circle around Israel. Oh, God. Actually, I think it'd be fun to look through some of these for a little while. The Julian Dean. Thank you very much for the 2 New Zealand dollars. Hey, handsome, thoughts on negative utilitarianism? You mean the utilitarianism in regards to like mitigating harm rather than enabling good, or negative utilitarianism as in maximizing outcomes that make people's lives worse? Because the former seems all right and the latter seems a little silly. Easter worshippers talking point invested by the Satanists. We got some Satanism here. Easter worshippers say the word. Hey, Dems, Easter worshippers means Christians. Just say it. I dare you. Okay, here we go. And we caught up to where we were before. Hillary Clinton, you are just despicable on every level. Recognize these poor souls as Christians, not Easter worshippers. You are truly evil. Hashtag MAGA. I mean, this is pretty much what we're getting here. This is pretty much the extent to which. But we can. I mean, I can go on. Yeah, those Christians were so extreme with their church attendance before they got blown up. Easter worshippers. Anyone else miss the days of the Crusades? Hashtag Fortnite. Hashtag Easter worshippers. Hashtag Coachella. That's what I'm saying. Chris Lube 1234. What are worshippers from the Rapa Nui Eastern Island? You've caught me in a semantic trap that I might not be able to wiggle myself out of, friend. Maybe we call them Christians. Wait a second. Have I not been showing my screen this whole time? Fuck me. I'm a fucking idiot. We are Christians, not Easter worshippers, and we were attacked and killed by radical Islamic extremists. Mind you, by the way, that none of the people here in this Twitter search feed, not a single person here gives an actual single solitary shit about the living conditions of Christians in Sri Lanka. This is 100% framing this as like the oppressed Christian narrative. Yeah, all these people who are complaining about the terminology used by former political officials to describe a developing world terrorist attack are more concerned with their language than they are with the actual terrorist attack. Eastern worshippers have a name. They're called as Christians with love from a non-native English speaker from South Asia. All right, well, I'm not going to make fun of somebody for not being a native English speaker. There's long extremist terrorists. The Easter worshippers were Christians, or for liberals, some people did something. All right, cool. We've got the Ilhan Omar shit in here. Can't I be triggered when you enter my yeah, so you guys get the yeah. You guys get the gist, right? Where's fucking Paul Joseph Watson? Paul Joseph. Why didn't type when I say type? Benjamin Mandolph, thank you for the 50 South Korean dollary dues. Westerners are ignorant of Sri Lanka. Even the leftist movement in favor of Tamil rights were weak. Fucking, yeah, of course. Like I said, nobody in the West gives a fuck about dead people in the third world. None of us get... If you think you give a shit right now, I promise you don't. You're mistaken. Bring this over a smidge. If you think you care about these human beings, you super definitely do not. We've got Paul Joseph Watson. Yeah, here we go. Apparently, it's not politically correct to point out that Christians were the primary target of yesterday's Islamic terror attack in Sri Lanka. Christians were the primary target. Christians. Now, being charitable here, the reason I might say maybe perhaps these people use the term Easter worshippers wasn't because they don't want to say Christian, even though there are plenty of news outlets on the left that use the term Christian to describe the victims of the terrorist attack, but rather because the term Easter worshippers refers, for one, to Christians. Christians are the ones who do Easter. If you're an Easter worshiper, you're probably Christian, right? And for two, to refer to the fact that the bombings were specifically targeting places of worship oriented around Easter celebrations. I have seen, after all, the term Ramadan worshippers on terror attacks of that corresponding day, which suggests to me that there was actually a greater degree of specificity being being brought about by that particular language. Sean McFarlane, thanks for the 5 Australian bucks. Hey, mate, keep up the good work. I had a horrible day yesterday, but watching your Zizek Peterson video helped a lot. I'm really delighted to hear that, friend. I'm really happy to hear that my content cheered you up a bit. I hope today goes better for you, and that I'm able to cheer you up in spite of the fact that maybe perhaps today isn't as terrible. And Fyodavs Yuldashev, thank you for the $2, my friend. I really appreciate the support. That's awfully kind of you. But I think we've got the gist here. Proud to be one of those Easter worshippers. Grateful, somehow far right, angry. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about here. Take away from 200 Christians murdering Easter in the Bezos. Yeah, right. A reasonable tweet. Easter worshippers is a much more economical way of expressing Christians who are worshiping Christ during the Easter period. I don't particularly enjoy engaging with conspiracy theory, so I don't really feel like discussing the idea that Christians are being maligned or targeted or what have you by the left. This is obviously not the case. However, I would be interested in talking about the potential reasons why... Jamperus, thank you for the $2. You helped pull me out of my anti-SJW phase. I love you. Holy shit, I've only been a content creator for like 3 months. Fuck. Well, thank you. I love you. With all that said, I'm not interested in engaging with conspiracy theory, so I'm not going to talk about how Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton are secretly Satanists that are working with the deep state to make sure that Christian... I don't care. What I do care about is the argument as to why they felt the need to call out white supremacy specifically in regards to its connection to the Christchurch shooting, but why they would not do so in regards to jihadi extremism with the Eastern bombings. So, let's discuss this. This is important, okay? White supremacy is a problem perpetuated by Western agents in Western culture. We have the power domestically and socially to oppose white supremacy. The same cannot be said for jihadi extremism, because the social and cultural conditions which bring that about are usually a product of the interplay between foreign countries. Shouldn't all evil be called out regardless of where it comes from? No, Robo Fury Man. I mean, you can make the choice to, but when we make public statements assigning blame to certain institutions, to certain ideologies, what we are doing is we are engaging in a call to action. If one says in a tweet, I sympathize with the victims of the Christchurch shooting, my heart goes out to them, we must fight white supremacy, what we are saying is that not only is white supremacy directly or indirectly responsible for the Christchurch shooting, we are also saying that this now becomes a target. White supremacy is now the item of disdain, the thing which we must work to change. We are now calling out specific actors. I mean, fucking Candace Owens got brought to fucking congressional testimony. Congressional testimony over the hubbubaloo that resulted from the Christchurch shooting and the manifesto of the shooter. When we talk about how we address the victims and the perpetrators of a given event, we're not just talking about addressing the evil which took place in a very blith and devoid of context way. We are engaging in a call to action. It is as simple as that. So why then do they not say jihadi extremists? Maybe it's because Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton would rather not perpetuate a social narrative by which Islam is a tyrannical tsunami of violence and hatred that is consuming Christianity in the developing world. Maybe the pertinent question. Robo Fury Man, how do we politically correctly identify Islamic terror as Western people without being offensive? Robo Fury Man, you're almost on point there. It's not about political correctness, and it's not about being offensive. It's about curtailing the narrative in a way that suits your political interests. And as people I would struggle to say that Clinton and Barack Obama are on the left, but as people who aren't reactionaries, we share a similar desire to not see these terror attacks be used as political fuel to justify violence against Islamic people. And this is very important. I mean, I'll take you for an example. Imagine if in America, every single time there was a shooting in like a downtown urban area, like as Detroit or Chicago and what have you, between people of color. What if every time public sympathies were relayed with regards to this incident, people would, Space Cowboy, thanks for the $5. Christians, but for real, sad to hear the horrific news. Keep up the great work, love the content. I love you, Space Cowboy. Yes, I really do appreciate the support, friend, and I will keep the content coming for as long as I'm alive. Now, imagine every time there's a shooting in, say, Detroit or Chicago or what have you, and when people tweet about it, they say, so sad, we must remember black culture is that which did this. Why doesn't $5 read it out loud? Hyena, because that was a super chat, not a Streamlabs donation. The tone, the specific denunciations you engage in when you address incidents like this have a massive effect on the way in which they're perceived broadly. A bombing in Sri Lanka against people who are worshiping Easter can be an evident example of racial tensions in that country, of religious tensions in that country, or it can get hijacked by Western media and brought about as another example of the infinite multitude of ways in which Islam is threatening to barrel down upon Western society, Christianity along with it. This highlights the importance of being really fucking careful when you talk about incidences like this. Now, turns out it backfired in this case, because for Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, their very careful terminology ended up inciting a sort of counter-reactionary movement of people on Twitter, accusing them of hiding the secret oppression of Christians, which takes place at all times and everywhere in the world. So, in this case, not especially efficacious. Nonetheless, an important sentiment to keep in mind. Beyond that, I don't really have anything to say about this. I'm an American. I'm not going to pretend that I know enough about Sri Lankan politics to comment on how this is indicative of certain social pressures or what have you. I'm too ignorant to do this. And I'm not going to sit here and virtue signal and pretend that I have some deep emotional sympathy. People die in the developing world all the time. It would be disingenuous of me to pretend just because this ended up getting hijacked by Western media, that I especially care. Because I don't. I have been born into a society that has sanded away my ability to care. Now, do I care in this broad social, intellectual sense? Yes, of course I do. People shouldn't die. Their lives are equal to mine. Every single person in Sri Lanka. However, realistically speaking, if I concern myself with the misery and death of every single person who wallows in poverty in the developing world, then I would have no time left to fuck or masturbate or what have you. I don't know. With that being said, there is something else I wanted to talk about. You hold your moment. It's getting warm in here. Yes. Get a cool breeze on my back. Where is it confirmed done by Muslims? Check the updated news story. It looks like the Sri Lankan government has already arrested like 26 people over their involvement in the coordinated suicide bombings, and there have been radical cells, Islamic radical cells in Sri Lanka that have already taken credit for the incident. Jin, thank you for the €2. Got a Transmedicalist video. Want to check it out? Feel free.
Can we have some fists in chat for our brave comrades in Rojava?
Corvus, thanks for the $5. Fists in chat, boys, for our brave fucking Rojavan comrades. Transmedicalist video. Jin, I appreciate the offer, but no thank you, not right now. Throw it to me on Discord. There is nothing right now that I am less interested in than more trans shit. The trans arguments get so fucking boring. Don't forget to mention that Muslims tried to warn the Sri Lankan government. Yeah, apparently there was also some level of incompetence or disconnect within the Sri Lankan government that prevented them from stopping the attacks, even though they had been warned about it over a week prior. Now, the other day we watched the Jordan Peterson Slajov Zizek kerfluffle, which was great and fun. We all had a great time, didn't we? Didn't we? But there was sort of an unaddressed qualm there, and that qualm is that Slavoj Zizek. There we go, Slavoj Zizek. Do you fucking like it when I look up how to pronounce the name Slavoj Zizek? Are you going to fucking come? Will you please come already? I should probably not yell that loud when the window is open. My neighbors can probably hear me screaming about come. There were a lot of people in chat who were complaining, oh, Slavoj Zizek, he is problematic, anti-SJW, anti-political correctness, anti-LGBT, anti-trans. Now, Slavoj Zizek is, of course, a contentious figure. I do not agree with him on every take, but, and this is a very large but, very round, well-crafted, a Nicki Minaj but, if you would, but I think that some of the perspectives that he offers in regards to his denunciations of political correctness as totalitarian, for example, I think they're quite a bit more meaty, you see, than the criticisms you might get from a reactionary. This is, of course, because reactionaries are brain dead, and Slavoj Zizek is a very intelligent man. So, please join me. I would like to watch this video, this little think piece Slavoj Zizek did on political... I'm going to keep Slavoj Zizek. Look, because I'm doing the name right now. I am going to watch this video now where he talks about his perspectives on political correctness. I thought it'd be nice that we could maybe do a video where I don't hate the person who's doing the video. Wouldn't that be nice? Just this once. Ugh, is this going to be gross? I don't know. Is it going to be gross like grotesque and crass? Probably. It's Zizek. Is it going to be gross like bigoted? I don't think so. I mean, I've watched this video multiple times.
Of course, I have nothing against the fact that your boss treats you in a nice way and so on. The problem is if this not only covers up the actual relationship of power, but makes it even more impenetrable.
Okay. Oh, what a beautiful frame to end on. Already I see people in chat. Zizek is a reactionary? Come on. Really? This is the kind of sectarianism, fucking purity testing horseshit I can't stand. Please, shut the fuck up. There are many legitimate criticisms to be made against Zizek that are not calling him a fascist, a reactionary, a big... It's nonsensical. Every time Zizek comes up in my community, stop. I'm a left com. I'm about as left as you can get, okay? From my fucking ivory tower of moral puritan, from my big tower, I can see all of you fucking dirty-ass plebs with your half-realized tautologies and your failed dialectics. And I say, from my perspective as well, that sectarianism is fucking stupid. and that broadly dismissing Zizek just because he's a fucking weirdo and has some hot takes is really stupid. Stop it. Stop. I fucking hate sectarianism. I do like being donated to, though.
Actually started reading Zizek to at least understand more of what he's getting at because of you. P. Zizek is an honest actor at the very least, so it's worth looking at his arguments.
Dracorvis, thank you so much for the $5. I could not conceivably agree to your point more. Zizek is a very honest and intelligent person, so it is important to look at his argument. It's not like looking through the videos of, say, Jordan B. Peterson. That's not what I meant. It's not like looking through the works of Ben Shapiro, who lies and contradicts. He is very upfront with the things which he believes in. This is important. Now, to those of you who even remember the first 16 seconds of this video entitled "Political Correctness is a More Dangerous Form of Totalitarianism," you may note the first thing he talks about is not trans pronouns, is not refraining from calling gay people fags. The first thing that he talks about is being nice to your boss, or your boss being nice to you.
You know, if you have a boss who is up there, the old-fashioned boss, shouting at you, exerting full brutal authority, in a way, it's much easier to rebel than to have a friendly boss who embraces you, or how was the last night with your girlfriend, blah, blah, all that body stuff, where...
First off, Jesus Gonzalez Vosh is a Molyneux Zizekist T-sectarian. Shut the fuck up. Thank you for the $2. Benjamin Mandolf, thank you very much for the 20 sex. No tankies allowed. I agree. I do fuck tankies. Yes. I mean, I don't fuck them, but do fuck them. I love you. So right off the bat, Zizek here is speaking of political correctness, but he is talking not about trans pronouns or what have you. He is instead speaking about how the niceties of relationships between those of different positions in the power hierarchy can be used to mask the power relation, which makes it more difficult to criticize. Listen to what he says there. To have a boss, as in the old time, the factory worker, the whip cracker, these people, the antagonisms driven between them and the workers beneath them are very easy to criticize. It's very easy to look at these things and denote the power relation, to acknowledge its existence, to extrapolate theory from it, who exploits who and what have you. But if you have a relationship with your boss, one in which the boss is kind and generous and asks you about how the night was with your girlfriend and what have you, the power relation remains the same, but the niceties cloak it and thus make it much harder to address. This is very often what Zizek means when he talks about political correctness. He's not talking about in the same way that Jordan Peterson would, about using the preferred pronouns of trans people or what have you. He is more often speaking about stuff like corporations calling you a member of their family, or like calling like workplace training expert, like diversity management courses. This flowery language, which is used to obfuscate the power relations we could otherwise recognize in these instances.
Then it almost appears impolite to protest. But I will give you an example, an old story that I often use to make it clear what do I mean by
Here, give us an example.
this. Imagine...
By the way, is the audio balancing good between myself and Zizek?
you or me, I am a small
Also, tankies aren't fascists. Stop with the horseshoe bullshit. Tankies are authoritarians and bad in their own right. That doesn't make them fascists.
boy. It's Sunday afternoon. My father wants me to visit our grandmother. Let's say my father is a traditional authority. What would he be doing? He would probably tell me something like, I don't care how you feel, it's your duty to visit your grandmother. Be polite to her, and so on. Nothing bad about this, I claim, because I can still rebel and so on. It's a clear order.
Point one of the example. a scenario. I'll open the volume mixer. Point 1 is a scenario in which... There we go. Point 1 is a scenario in which a young boy is being told to visit his grandmother because the father is an authoritarian figure, and he simply says, you must do this, you must come. A simple, easy power relationship, one which is capable of being rebelled against with great ease.
But what would the so-called modern, non-authoritarian father do? I know because I experienced it. He would have said something like this: you know how much your grandmother loves you, but nonetheless, I'm not forcing you to visit her. You should only visit her if you freely decide to do it. Now, every child knows that beneath the appearance of free choice, there is a much stronger pressure in this second message. Because basically, your father is not only telling you you must visit your grandmother, but you must love to visit it.
I think that this is a really important distinction to throw out there. That political correctness is not merely doing a thing that makes people happy. It is also an enforcement of the attitudes which you must take towards your own behavior. And he'll go on to explain more of this, but it is, in a way, a means by which we are made to be emotionally complicit in our own exploitation. If any of you, I'm an approachable guy. Thank you very much for the £2. What do I love more, your beard or his accent? Probably his accent. He's got a really fun accent. That bitch with no sass. Hello again. Hey, baby, can't stay tonight. Fuck soft power and the companies do it's the worst. Sorry for what Nikki did to you. No problem, friend. You know what? Nikki does that. Not the first time with Nikki. Thank you very much for the €6. But this is an important sort of dynamic to examine here, because if any of you have done corporate training any time in the past, decade, and probably quite a bit prior, I'm only so old after all, but if any of you have done corporate training, you have been saturated, especially in retail, you have been saturated in body after body of guidelines and manuals, which suggest that you must not only adhere to a certain set of conduct and follow a certain set of rules, but that you must love it as well, that you must refer to them, these instances of your exploitation, in flowery language, which masks the extent to which you are subservient to the will of the corporation. This is super fucking common if you have ever done retail. Jesus fucking Christ. The employment training manuals that you have to go through, and you'll learn about all the Hep 2 procedures and how you gotta greet everyone with a smile, and time to fill out your report card at the end of the day. How do you feel that you did? We at blank 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 Inc. Do surely value the criticism that you give of our workplace policy, and we'll be sure to implement them. The language that's used is in many ways far worse than it would be without the kindness. Without the kindness, you must perform the same tasks, yes, but you are free to hate it. And what's more, the hatred may one day coalesce to rebellion. But in these newer types of business management, where everyone is a family, where we're all just sharing our ideas on the floor, where we don't have the boss or the leader or the owner or the manager, we just have team coordinators. This is a logic of control. This is one of the ways in which Slavoj Žižek refers to political correctness. Again, I have seen so many people denounce Slavoj for his takes on political correctness, but I find that if they're extolled upon in the right way, they become very accepting, even to the most fucking libcucky PC fucking peeps.
It's, he tells you how you must feel about it. It's a much stronger order. And I think that this is, for me, almost a paradigm of modern permissive authority. This is why the formula of totalitarianism is not, I don't care what you think, just do it. This is traditional authoritarianism. The totalitarian formula is, I know better than you what you really want. And I may appear to be forcing you to do it, but I'm really just making you do what without fully knowing you want, and so on and so on.
Yeah. Another phenomenal example of the paradigm that we have become accustomed to here, or at least the way in which authoritarianism has been developed. We no longer see this, the idea of the leader who does not care about the population. This is of the kings and queens and what have you. The leader who stands arrogantly atop society and says, I do not care what you want, I do not care what you believe you want, I will do as I want and you will assist me in doing so. This is no longer a thing. Instead now, the leaders that we see, the evident authoritarians, and we can see this, we saw this very obviously in the Soviet Union, we saw this in plenty of their satellite states and other societies that have since had their own brand of authoritarian state socialist communism. Since the beginning of the Cold War, the model of an authoritarian leader who does, at least on the surface, care substantially about what the population wants. It's just that in their mind, the population wants whatever is to the benefit of the interests laid forth by the leader. If Zizek is so smart, why doesn't he understand that PC is a dog whistle? Because he does understand. Because Zizek has been talking about political correctness for longer than political correctness has been a dog whistle by reactionaries to describe like modern U.S. politics and the coddling of trans people and what have you. He's old, dude. Slavoj Zizek is 70 years old, and he's been talking about these concepts for longer than it's taken for them to metastasize in U.S. politics to the point that we have today. Not only is he a fucking old boy, but we also have the suggestion, he made this suggestion in his debate with Jordan Peterson, that by standing openly against political correctness, you offer right-leaning people an opportunity to turn leftward without embracing any of this libcucky SJW political nonsense that they so firmly rally against. I mean, we saw this in the John Doyle video that I looked at just yesterday. John Doyle is basically a fucking white nationalist, and he was like, yeah, you know, I looked at some of Zizek's works, and he seems pretty smart, and I respect that. And he doesn't support political correctness, and I respect that. I have never seen John Doyle speak in a conciliatory or respectful manner towards a left-leaning person before, let alone a fucking communist, as Slavoj Zizek is. But he did so, and one of the reasons he did so is because Slavoj Zizek is critical of progressivism. There is value here. There is value. Let us continue. But is his version of PC the same as the rights? They seem like totally different concepts. No, they are not the same. But just by him denouncing it openly, even if the concepts are different... Listen, reactionaries are not that smart, okay? A reactionary is not going to look at Slavoj Zizek, see that he denounces political correctness, then look into his works on political correctness and see that, oh, he's not talking about not using trans people's preferred pronouns. He's actually talking about not using language which masks the power relationship between people in different members of the hierarchy. Oh, okay, in that case, I still do hate him. This is not the case. Reactionaries are stupid. And even if superficially he is engages in this anti-PC thinking, I believe that it does more good than it does harm. Let's continue.
So in this sense, yes, I am horrified by this. Also, another aspect, this new culture of experts, where an injunction is presented just as a neutral statement. For example, one example that I like, and let's not have a misunderstanding here, I don't smoke, and I'm for punishing tobacco companies and so on and so on. But I'm deeply suspicious about our phobia about smoking. I don't buy it that this can be really justified just based on scientific knowledge, how cigarettes hurt us and so on and so on. Because my first problem is that most of the people who oppose smoking then usually are for legalization of drugs and so on and so on. But my basic problem is this one. Look, now they found a more or less solution, e-cigarettes, electronic cigarettes. And I discovered that now big American airline companies decided to prohibit them. and it's interesting to read the reason why. The reason is not so much that it's not yet sure are they safe or not, basically they are. The idea is that if you smoke during the flight a cigarette, you publicly display your addiction, and that is not a good pedagogical example for others, and so on and so on.
I don't know what relationship this has to political correctness, but it is an amusing anecdote. Oh,
Are you aware and do you have an opinion of discourse around dysphoria being necessary to be trans?
Charlie Britt, thank you for the $5. I am aware of, and I do have opinions on the discourse surrounding dysphoria being necessary to be trans. I assume you want me to share those opinions. Basically, I used to be a bit of a trust scum, or I used to think there was some manner of categorical difference between a person so engaged with their own transness that they are willing to subject themselves to the mockery, say, for example, a trans woman, the mockery of transitioning, of getting a new name, of wearing different clothing, often of getting hormones, of getting surgery, of like this is a very involved process. And some people are simply just non-binary, and what they do is they just wear different clothes and get piercings and dye their hair a certain way. So I do feel as though trans can apply to all people within this umbrella. Trans simply does mean, after all, to identify as a gender other than that which you were assigned at birth. However, I do feel like there is value to a categorical distinction between people who engage in the fullest form of transition, to be born, again, in the trans woman example, to be born assigned male, to have the penis and what have you, and then to undergo the years-long process of inviting scorn and scrutiny from your loved ones, your family, your friends, the business, the people around you, to open yourself up to violence and such and such. I feel like this is a very different process with a very different level of gravitas than a person who just falls somewhere in the non-binary category and their gender is just kind of fucky. I don't know. There's some value to the distinction, but both are trans. Okay.
I mean, I find this a clear example of how a certain ethics, which is not just neutral ethics of health.
I'm talking like
But
Raccoon
basically,
Philosopher.
I think
Yeah, I've been listening to
it's
too much of him
ethics
lately.
of don't fall into it. Don't have a too passionate engagement. Remain at a proper distance. Control yourself, and so on. And now I will shock you to end. I think even racism can be ambiguous.
Yeah, here we go.
You know, once I made an interview where I was asked, how do we find reactionary racism? You know what was my answer? With progressive racism. Then, what do you mean? Of course, I didn't mean racism. What I meant is the following things. Of course, racist jokes and so on can be extremely oppressive, humiliating, and so on.
Again, another categorical distinction between what Zizek is saying here and what a reactionary would say on the same subject. Because Zizek is literally about to talk about how racist jokes can be or how they can not further a racist agenda, how they can be beneficial. And he acknowledges right off the bat that there are racist jokes, very often, in fact, which can be humiliating and oppressive and what have you. This is more acknowledgement than any reactionary would give to the subject. A reactionary would simply say that if something is a joke, that it's not harmful just by default.
But the solution, I think, is to create an atmosphere or to practice these jokes in such a way that they really function as that little bit of obscene contact which establishes true proximity between us. And I'm talking from my own past political experience, ex-Yugoslavia. I remember when I was young, when I met with other people from ex-Yugoslav republics, Serbs, Croats, Bosnians, and so on.
Gotta say, I'm really glad that I had the captions turned on for that, because I would have had no idea that he said Serbs, Croats, Bosnians there. I would have had no idea.
We were all the time telling dirty jokes about each other, but not so much against the other. We were in a wonderful way competing who will be able to tell a nastier joke about ourselves. These were obscene racist jokes. But their effect was a wonderful sense of shared obscene solidarity. And I have another proof here. Do you know that when civil war exploded in Yugoslavia, early 90s, and already before in the 80s, ethnic tensions, the first victim were these jokes. They immediately disappeared. Because people felt very well that...
I think that's an important distinction to be made there. That the fact that he and his compatriots in those countries with their civil tensions and what have you, and it should be noted, by the way, that just because from our perspective, Serbians and Bosnians and what have you are all just like Slavic people, so they're all like of the same race, like that's not how they feel about it. There are pretty severe ethnic tensions in the Balkan regions that I personally am not extensively educated on, but for people of these conflicting cultures to engage in these horrible racist jokes around and with one another, I feel like in that context, the severity of these jokes would be comparable to that of, say, white and black and Asian people were doing it here in America today. The civil tensions were present, even if they weren't necessarily reflective of the differing skin tones. That we're still talking about a comparable context here. And he says then that when these racial tensions exploded, the first thing to die were these jokes. That the existence of these jokes were actually indicative of a calm in the tensions, or at least a mutual comfort amongst the people who might otherwise be engaging in those tensions to play nice, to banter.
For example, what? Let's say I visit another country. I hate this politically correct respect. Ooh, what is your food? What are your cultural forms? No, I tell them, tell me a dirty joke about yourself, and we will be friends, and so on. It works. So you see this ambiguity, that's my problem with political correctness. No? It's just a form of self-discipline which doesn't really allow you to overcome racism.
I do really agree with this point, that political correctness does not in and of itself constitute any sort of opposition to bigotry. This is really important, okay? Let me entertain you all with a hypothetical. Okay, who's the most oppressed demographic in America right now? Easy answer, it's the transes, okay? The trans people, okay? It's those, okay? I think this is quite evident presently. This is the civil rights struggle that we're currently contending with. Trans people didn't even exist 10 years ago. They were invented 9.5 years ago. So obviously we are, this is sort of the cutting edge of the civil rights front. The majority of people in America are not familiar with like trans rights as a broader social civic issue. This is not something of which most people are familiar. Okay, to be knowledgeable of like trans ideology, like the like modern gender theory and such, this is usually relegated to very specific social and academic circles. The vast majority of people do not know this. But what if 10, 20, 30 years down the line, this whole trans craze, that is to say the anti-trans craze with the bathroom bills and the being banned from the military and what have you, what if these things pass, as they will eventually? What if the civil rights march continues forward and forward, trans people become integrated into society, accepted members of the public discourse, and now that they are, to misgender a trans person or to be critical of a person's appearance in a way which is insensitive towards trans people, these things are now met with the same almost universal derision one would see if you referred to a black person as like a black, or like a colored man, or boy, or the N-word. So what if we reach that point? And on the surface, I mean, like, great. If we reach a point in society, wait, also disagree, trans people are oppressed. You shouldn't be comparing oppression for the goddamn oppression Olympics. I'd say illegal workers and the mentally ill. Hyena, the point wasn't actually talking about the single most oppressed group of people in America. The point was talking about how language surrounding that group can mask bigotry rather than ale it. Anyway, but on the surface, this is a good thing, right? I mean, obviously, we don't want people running around not saying the N-word. So in the same way, we don't want people being able to run around, feel comfortable misgendering transgender people when we know they know what their preferred gender is. The problem, of course, is that the civil rights movement failed. Here in America, a lot of fucking people are racist. A lot of fucking people. But these people don't run around calling black people the N-word. They say black people. Or African American. And because of this shift, and we can look at the specific logic of this shift in the Southern strategy, and the rationale behind the Southern strategy and the specifics in how it was applied, we can see that the shift in language from calling black people just N-word, 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 to calling them black people, but subtly indicating your distaste for them in other ways, this made it much more difficult to extensively critique and address systemic racism. Racism is very easy and evident and targetable if it's N-word, N-word, N-word. But there are still like a fuck ton of racist people in this country. The popularity of reactionary figures on the right, the rise of Donald Trump and what have you, the popularity of 4chan and Poll and what have you, indicates that. So where the fuck are these people? Like, what are they doing? The language of political correctness, that is to say, the logic of it, to refer to black people as people of color or simply as black people or humans or Americans or I don't see race or what have you, has in many ways civilized public discourse, and that's good. But towards the negative end of things, it has also made it much more difficult to publicly identify bigots. Well, obviously, I'm talking about using the N-word in public, guys. We're literally talking about public discourse, you fucking nerds. Do you people not understand what I'm saying? All I'm seeing in chat is derision. Is this really not evident? The fact that we have shifted the focus of movement forward when it comes to acceptable treatment of black people by focusing this on language, we have not addressed the issue. We have merely made it easier to be crypto-racist. Much in the same way that if we did the same thing with trans people, where you have to use the proper pronouns and use proper language when referring to like gender ideology and what have you, if we did this wouldn't stop people from being disgusted by the existence of trans people. It would just make it harder to call those people out because they would start to mask their disgust with an acceptance of the common parlance. Now, does this mean we should go back to calling black people the N-word? No, obviously not. Or that we should misgender trans people? No, obviously not. What we should do, and this is the argument that Zizek is making here, what we should do is we, the non-racists, the non-transphobes, should not say the N-word and not misgender people, and they, the racists and the transphobes, can continue using the language that they are using now. We can fight them on it, don't get me wrong, but to push for this broad PC, libcucky social acceptance, what this does is it gives them a mask with which to obfuscate. Okay, I feel like, you know what, never, you're not woke enough for this yet, okay? I'll do this in a month, okay? We'll talk about this again in a month. This is like stage 7 woke, Stage 8 woke is just the only word you use is the N-word, okay? This is the highest level of leftism. Space Cowboy, thank you for the $2. The bigotry still exists, just in different words. Exactly, and we focused on the words, not the bigotry. We thought that if we forced everyone to call black people instead of calling them the N-words, that we would make society less racist. But that didn't happen. Did it. And Aiden Heron, thank you for the $2. Man, I hop into stream and Vosh already yelling. You know it. Nah, I just don't think people care or generally agree. Hyena, you sure are feeling grumpy today. If you don't care about my hot-ass political takes, then you can go leave and cry about your headache elsewhere, okay? Now, as I was saying, Tier 8 leftism is only saying the N-word, okay? So that is the goal we're trying to reach. And I'm on Tier 7 right now. Whatever the case is, let's continue. Let's continue with Zizek.
Discipline which doesn't really allow you to overcome racism. It's just oppressed, controlled racism. And the same goes here. I will tell you a wonderful story, simple one. It happened to me a year ago, around the corner here in the bookstore. I was signing a book of mine. Two black guys came, African Americans. I don't like the term. My black friends also not, for obvious reasons. It can be even more racist. But
I think we can agree the term African American turned out to be kind of dumb in the long run. Rubmaps intern, can you do a full 360 fin, full body in front of the camera? Wait, what? No, why? Wait, why? Why do you want that? What? No, I don't wanna. I'm not wearing my nicest clothes today. Imperishable Neat, thanks for the $2. If I'm left of the Bolsheviks, does that imply No, if you're left of the Bolsheviks, that would make you less authoritarian. Oh, right, I didn't bring the screen back. There we go. I gotta... Guys, listen, when I have two monitors, I'll be able to see what I'm doing so I won't fucking forget, okay? Anyway, all you did was miss him sniffling.
the point is, and they asked me to sign a book, and seeing them there, I couldn't resist the worst racist remark. When I was returning the books to them, I told them, you know, now, I don't know which one is for whom, you know. You blacks like yellow guys, you look all the same. They embraced me and they told me, you can call me nigger.
You know, we could have a very, very long discussion on the extent to which this... Okay, listen. First of all, Zizek canonically has the N-word pass, okay? I mean, he said it right here. Right there, he said the black guy said that he could say the N-word, okay? Yeah, he looks so happy. It's the only time in the video he looks happy, when he remembered the time he got the N-word pass. Oh, God. Listen, okay, we gotta have ourselves a discussion, guys. Oh, no. We gotta have ourselves a discussion, okay? Listen the fuck up. On racist jokes. And the joke there is unquestionably racist, okay? Because the joke is that all black people look the same, thus he doesn't know where to give the autograph book back to. What is the value of a racist joke? Aiden Heron, thank you for the $2. I cringed and laughed at the same time. I just laughed, my friend. I've been in this position. I'm good for it. I've been given... Guys, I have a fucking broom cupboard full of N-word passes, okay? I don't use any of them. That's a lie. I say the N-word. I say the N-word. Okay, listen. There is value to be had here, okay? Now, why is it wrong to use... why is it wrong to make a racist joke? Let's discuss this, because this is important. Why is it wrong to make a racist joke? Okay? Here are the arguments. The first argument. because it hurts the feelings of the people around you. Okay? Simple argument. Racism is bad, especially if you're around the people whose race you're making fun of. Fucking don't do it. You'll ruin their mood. Fine and dandy. Brandon Schneider. Thanks for the $2. He always sounds like there's a big nut in his gob. I honestly don't know what's going on with his uvula. My theory is that Slavoj Žižek's uvula is about the size of a tennis ball, and it clogs the back of his throat. It's just this big dangly flesh knob, like a scrotum hanging in the back of his throat. Teresius, thanks for the $5. I wish I could look as happy as he does in that moment. My girlfriend constantly reminds me I can't have an N-word pass. Teresius, that sucks, man. I'll give you some of my spare ones. So, let's talk about this, okay? Why to not make a racist joke? Because it offends the people around you. First argument. A counter-argument. If you are socially cognizant, you can learn to make these jokes in contexts where people around you are not offended. If he is retelling this story accurately, and I believe he is, he comes off to me as a very honest man, that, like, he's not misreading, he's not saying that there was, like, all the black guys loved it, but there were actually, like, half the black guys were like, hey, man, come on, but he only remembers the good part. I'm going to assume the authenticity of this story, because very similar things have happened to me specifically. Caden, to an extent, thank you for the $4. I believe most of it comes from his nose. Yeah, maybe he just has testicles up there. Brenna Booth, thank you for the £5. Context is super important. That's obviously a friendly, albeit racist joke. It's different when it's done aggressively to silence or intimidate people. I agree. Quit getting... Don't you fucking dare get ahead of me. Get in the back of the class. We're doing this one point at a time. Thank you for the support. So, the first argument here is to not offend people. I think that this is, in this instance, moot. Zizek is a funny guy. The people seemed to appreciate the joke. No one offended. Point B. This joke normalizes racism in the people around you. If Zizek, a Marxist academic, is at a book signing and he does this joke to a group of black guys, is there anyone whose values is being normalized here? Is there any racism being normalized here? If this was an internet forum, for example, where he made, where for example, he, where Zizek was a live streamer like me, I guess, and he saw someone in the audience, he was like, oh, I do not know who to thank for that donation, you black people all look the same, or something along those lines, and then he laughed about it. This would, at least in my mind, be extremely problematic, because the audience, this mixed audience, if Slavoj Zizek is streaming, thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of people watching. Creative Nothing, thank you for the $2. Slavoj Zizek is a gamer, confirmed. But in this context, in this private context, where it is him signing for a book line, and he is speaking with a group of black men, and he makes this joke to them, who's with him that could have heard that, whose racist views could be normalized? Not Slavoj's, obviously. He's him. Not the black men, obviously, unless you're worried about festering some kind of weird self-hatey thing in them, which seems to me a little bit paternalizing, personally. Maybe perhaps there's a person further back in the audience who heard it and thought, like, yes, even though I am about to get an autograph from a famed leftist, I am the sort of person whose racist views would be normalized by hearing him make a joke that was obviously made in a context friendly with the people he was saying it to. Do a 360 spin, the audience demands it. Fuck you, Whisker Scuttlebum. But thank you for the $2. But also fuck you. No. So I don't feel as though anyone could sincerely and honestly argue that the joke that he made reinforced racist values in the people around him. You could make the argument that by using a joke like that, he's reinforcing a racist value within himself, that he is perpetuating an internal cycle by which he finds racism funny or what have you. And there's no way for me to deductively understand the contents of Slavoj Zizek's mind. Jesus Christ, what is wrong with you people? There. That's all you're getting. There's no way for me to deductively understand the contents of Slavoj Zizek's mind, but I think it's reasonable to say that this famed Marxian academic who has spent his entire life decrying and fighting against racism, among other things, is probably not a racist. I can't know for sure, but I'm gonna say probably. So, To my knowledge, those are like the 3 reasons you shouldn't make a racist joke. Don't offend others. Don't normalize racism in others. Don't normalize racism in yourself. When I'm alone with my girlfriend at night, when we're like high or whatever, I occasionally say the N-word. I say it with a hard R. Do I look like a fucking bitch to you? Do you think I would puss out on a joke that could be funnier if I went the full mile? Of course not. Now, are these jokes racist? No, I never make racist jokes. But the jokes invoke the humored, the linguistic sensibilities of racism. Usually, when I make jokes that involve everyone who's saying yikes in the chat can go fuck yourself right now. If you unironically think that me just saying the N-word alone with my girlfriend in a non-racist context is like yikesy or problematic, then you believe in witchcraft. You believe that the N-word is a magical spell that you cast with your mouth that makes the world worse somehow. It's a very stupid take. Now, in the context of this Slavoj Žižek, what have you, in this context exactly, what are the benefits of making a racist joke here? Because so far, it seems as though the downsides, the conceivable negatives, have been taken care of. There aren't any. So we now have to look at the positives. Well, there aren't really, like, positives. To making a racist joke. However, I think that one could reasonably argue that in this context, by making that joke, you know, all black guys look the same or what have you, he is engaging in a form of sort of a satirical or facetious sympathy with the livid experiences of those black people. It's a communally projected version of what Natalie Rinn, a.k.a. ContraPoints, a.k.a. Yes Queen, said in her video, The Darkness, where ContraPoints made an argument in favor of making edgy jokes that are pretty problematic because they can be used to channel some kind of inner hurt. What Slavoj is doing in this case is that he is taking the inner hurt, the presumed inner hurt, of the black men to whom he is speaking and making a joke of it to project a kind of sympathy, to project a kind of solidarity. Like, let us get into the mind space right now of Slavoj Žižek, if we could. Do we sincerely believe that Slavoj Žižek is racist? Do we genuinely believe this? This is ludicrous. He has done everything across the span of his life to suggest otherwise. His life is a model to theoretical, academic, holistic leftist. Like, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. Wait, Charlie Britt says, Contra is using her own personal inner hurt to make an edgy, problematic joke because it's her experience. White people don't experience the inner hurt of black people. That's exactly what I am saying. They do not. However, in certain circumstances, you can project a kind of facetious sympathy for the plight of marginalized groups by engaging in the kind of humor that is typically used to belittle them. He says at the beginning of this video that, of course, racist jokes can be used to belittle, to humiliate, to oppress. So he acknowledges that jokes, racist jokes themselves, can be used to hurt. However, in the joke he made here, the black men to whom he was speaking seemed to like the joke. So we must ask then, why did they like it? Because right now, if you're like, oh, he did something racist, oh, yikes, oh, I would never do that, oh, but you're not willing to understand the reasons why the black men may have found that funny, you are paternalizing fucking hard. That is incredibly fucking patronizing. For you to say, oh, well, we couldn't know they're hurt, we can't make these jokes, even if they like it, it's bad, they can't do, even if they like it, it's bad. This is incredibly fucking patronizing. Yeah, this is kind of yikesy. You people are stupid. Incredible. Unbelievable how stupid you people are if you unironically think this is yikesy. To make a joke to indicate sympathy with the plight of marginalized communities by evoking the language. Do you believe Zizek sincerely believes all black people look the same? Do you sincerely believe this? Why then did he make the joke? Why then did the black men laugh? If you're unwilling to examine these questions because your brain just shuts down when you hear the N-word or when you hear racism, your brain just shuts down, oh bad, then you are every bit the NPC that reactionaries would accuse you of if you took this take to Twitter, okay? You are unironically doing some NPC shit right now, so shut the fuck up. Engage with the logic of the conversation rather than just getting offended because the pieces used to construct the logical argument are ones which in certain contexts or in no context at all are themselves problematic. We got some mad fucking people in chat. Yeah. Brandon Schneider, thanks for the $2. And Dean Rodman, this take's almost as hot as you. Thanks for the $2. I mean, I'm literally just iterating upon the point provided by an extremely reputable Marxian philosopher. But yeah, sure. I agree, but a general rule of avoiding certain slurs is not normally problematic. I agree. It's not ever problematic to avoid using slurs, but that doesn't mean that in certain contexts, racist jokes and the use of slurs cannot be not only harmless, but beneficial. Can you read my earlier Advash? Oh god, the people are fucking revolting. John Travis, thanks for the $10. Ignore the idpol drones. I gotta say, I'm not thinking very much of my audience right now. Thank you very much for the $10. I really appreciate it. Alright, read my earlier ad. Let's look up. Scroll up for Hyena. Based off this chat reaction, I don't think they're understanding your point. Is there another way to put it for the fucking babies in chat? Okay, yeah, listen, I'm going to try and be sympathetic, and I'm going to try and interpret this as misunderstanding, rather than you guys being incredibly obnoxious virtue signalers. Listen to me. It is possible to use a slur or to engage in racist humor without enabling or reinforcing racism. There are, in fact, many interactions.
I used to say slurs before, but I don't anymore because I don't want to hurt others. But I do make self-referential deprecating jokes like the helicopter one earlier and call myself a tranny. I think it depends on the audience.
Ciancius, yes, I do agree it depends on the audience. I would never advocate just walk into a fucking NAACP, like, conference hall and start screaming the N-word because you think it's funny. Thank you for the $5. Listen, I'm going to be charitable with you people, okay? Because this is some serious fucking NPC libcuck shit. Hey, listen, if you're a fucking idpol liberal, get the fuck out of here. We don't promote, solidarity with people of color, with trans people, with gender and sexual minorities in this thin anti-dialectical veneer of, oh, just don't say the wrong words and it will all fall into place, where you value the surface over the substance, where you value the language over the thought. Seriously, get the fuck out of here with that shit. This brain-dead NPC shit. Listen. Engage with the material. Why is it that Slavoj Žižek made the joke? And why is it that the black men liked it? Why? Ask yourself. Do you think there might be more, perhaps, nuance to this dynamic? Dogden, I get it. It's relating to their dehumanization. I could understand. Listen, I was born white. I will always be white. I understand that I will never be able to fully put myself in the shoes of somebody who has experienced the oppression of
In Zizek's context, it was okay. But in most contexts, the N-word is bad, and it's much safer to never take the risk. Zizek isn't bad. His situation was okay. However, I'm just never gonna take the risk that my context is okay.
And Charlie Britt, first off, thanks for the $5. And for 2, that's totally fine. If you don't want to take that risk, that's totally valid. Zizek is known for being edgy and irreverent, so of course he's going to push the boundaries on that. There's nothing wrong with not pushing those boundaries, okay? Listen, the problem here... wait. Many of these people are morally lucky. They'd be reactionaries to put in. Yeah, I'm seeing some serious fucking moral luck. Wait, lol again, Vosh. This is not about what Zizek did. This is about the fact you say the N-word in private despite being a leftist. Kalana Harath, I'm banning you. That's such a stupid take. I'm unironically banning you. You can message a mod if you want to get unbanned. If you unironically fucking believe that the N-word is a magical spell that you cast with your mouth to make the world worse, you are a fucking idiot NPC and you hurt leftism with your tiny, tiny brain. Seriously, get the fuck out of here if you think like that. If you unironically, if that's the extent to which your brain is capable of engaging with theory, then just get out. Unironically, one of the people who would ban fucking Tom Sawyer from book libraries. What do you think? Do you think perhaps George Orwell wasn't an advocate for racial rights in his time either because he said Negro when referring to the black man? I can't, like, the idea that some people in this chat unironically fucking believe that saying the N-word alone with your partner when no one else can hear, when both people involved are not only not racist, but extremely anti-racist, when the jokes themselves are not jokes which downplay the experience of marginalized communities, but rather exacerbate the brutality and horrific nature of those who have a tendency to use that language. The idea that such a thing could be harmful in and of itself is appalling to me. You hurt the left, you hurt discourse, you make us look bad to everybody, and this is needless sectarianism. This is a new idea to a lot of us. I'd say give people a little more leeway to change their mind instead of just banning them. I could, but if somebody like, lol, this isn't about Zizek, this is because you say the N-word despite being a leftist. Nah, fuck that person. All right, I'm not, I can't ban people for being stupid. I shouldn't ban people for being stupid. I have to cultivate a community. Just move on, my guy. You're right. If they're wrong, then leave. Vosh says the N-word. Yeah, share it. Vosh says yeah, I do. It's not a magic spell. I am not racist. I fight racism. I think the N-word can be used. Wait, lol, more questionable behavior from Vosh? Imagine my shock. Nah, I take it back. I'm banning some people. Get them out of here. God almighty. Dude, please continue. Like, you realize that the takes you people are engaging in right now are unironically more stupid and contrary to anti-racist sentiment than what I do, right? Okay, look, what matters is that I'm now seeing people in chat who agree with me. For a second, I was just, yeah, we're why Trump won, and did. The behavior like this is unironically what motivates fucking reactionaries. Brain dead NPC fucking smooth brainlet little bitch boy liberals like you who unironically think that the beginning and end of racism is making sure people don't say bad words, whose only capacity for engaging logically with the arguments behind racism and anti-racism or what language you use to describe and refer to black people people, that is unironically one of the reasons why left-leaning people in America were not ready to deal with the rise of reactionaries back in 2014 with Gamergate, 2016 with the election of Donald Trump. This is unironically one of the reasons why things went to shit. Because people like you don't have any fucking idea what racism is and what can be done to address racism in a social context. People like you who unironically fucking think that you can accuse me of engaging in problematic behavior for saying jokes which contained the N-word while speaking with my girlfriend as two anti-racist people privately, alone, and then go back in our daily lives to combating racism in every practical manner in which we can possibly engage. Do you think it is negated in some way by it? That saying the N-word coats my throat with some kind of slackened tar that makes every other word out of my mouth poison? Fucking idiots. Real evil Corgi, words themselves aren't bad, it's how they're used. I completely fucking agree. Thank you, real evil Corgi. Honestly, white people love yelling about the N-word instead of actually challenging racism or wealth inequality. Liberals too. Yep, Aiden here, and thanks for the $5 because that's where their brain stops at. Institutional discrimination or the subtler language of exclusion? No. That would require some fucking brain power. What if we just got everyone, instead of saying N-word, they can say African American? What if that's the key? All right. What do you think of PewDiePie paying Fiverr to say death to the Jews and then someone actually killing Jews in response? Oh, I mean, fuck PewDiePie. PewDiePie is definitely a white nationalist adjacent. I'm saying this unironically. My friends from the black community would all appreciate what you're saying right now. Very node. Thank you for letting me say I have friends who have black friends. I appreciate it. No, like, but fucking for real, though, okay? Like, actually fucking for real. What Zizek said in his video about him being with the black guys and then he makes the joke, you all look the same, and they all laugh and they saw that he can call them the N-word or what have you. I have had comparable experiences, okay? I went to a largely Jewish school. My brother was big into sports, which means he got in good with, like, the athletic crowd, which tends to have a lot of fucking black kids. I would hang around with a lot of Jews and a lot of racial minorities, and very often jokes with them were banting about trying to play it as close to the line as you can possibly get. This very often this was the social dynamic that was engaged in. But if you were cool enough, then you would learn how to engage with the self-deprecatory language without reinforcing it. This is a very essential distinction because there is a huge difference between Slavoj Žižek, the alt-right nationalist, going on a podcast and looking at some black dudes and being like, hey, you all fucking look the same to me. Or sorry, you will look the same to me. There's a huge difference between that and Slavoj Žižek, the Marxian philosopher, engaging with that language in private to a group of his fans who will recognize reciprocally that Zizek is not himself racist, that they are not being affected by the racism he invokes, that he's instead expressing sympathy. Couldn't this be the same as normalizing white nationalism by joking? Not even slightly. I literally just said that if you engage in this joking in certain contexts, you enable it. But if you engage in this joking in other contexts, you subvert it, you criticize it, and you sympathize with the victims of it. These are not comparable. These are not comparable. Most of the that bitch with no sass. Thank you for the €6. Most of the yikes are ironic, I think. Yikes don't hate your community, babe. We agree with you. Also, I'm high in progesterone. I'm glad you're having a good time with that progesterone. And I feel like the majority of the yikes
Good morning, Vash.
were... Oh, no.
I'm going to make art for you. What should I draw?
Oh, no. You're going to make art for me? Draw a muscular centaur with a big dick. Thank you, that bitch with no sass. And Aiden here, and also Zizek isn't American. The N-word doesn't have the same punch in most other countries. To him, it's just an edgy joke. Yeah, but I think he's aware of the context in America. He just engaged with the subject material in a. Oh, I'm getting a headache. Yeah, there are people asking if, like, my girlfriend is black, as though my girlfriend being black would be, like, the secret key to fixing this all. What the fuck are you people talking about? Do you think skin color is match? No. Okay, Dean Rodman, thanks for the $5. The argument you're having with chat right now is the same argument that turned me into an anti-SJW some 5 years ago. Fucking exactly! This is exactly what I mean. The logic that you guys engage in, where words are magic and some words are just bad and you're bad if you use some words, this is the same kind of moralization that causes people to turn away from left-leaning politics, because it's fucking stupid. Alright, I'm calm now. Dean Rodman, thank you for the $5. Okay, there we go. This is a calm stream now. This is a calm stream. I'm just going to pee real quick. I'm going to get some water, okay? Just get a little bit of happy liquid pumping down my throat, fill up my belly, make me feel good, make me feel happy. It's going to be a good time. I'm really looking forward to spending the rest of you stream with these guys. We're going to finish the Zizek video. I'm going to share my opinions on it. I'm going to drink lots of water. I'm going to stay hydrated. I love you guys. Listen, I'll conclude... Wait, my water. Listen, I'm going to conclude with a single point, okay? The focus on language over substance is the same reason that on Twitch and YouTube, you can say the N-word and get banned, but you can fucking dog whistle crypto racism until the cows come home and never get banned. It is the shifting of priorities from substance and effect to language usage that enables racism. It doesn't defeat it, okay? All right, let's see a super chat that I missed. Falling into buckets a lot. Thank you so much for the $10. That's incredibly generous of you. I really appreciate it. I feel comfortable saying the N-word around my best friend, who is multiracial. Black dad has mutual understanding of white people. Difference is responsibility, not the word itself. I completely agree. Context is relevant. Very often, context is used as an excuse by right-leaning people to justify overtly racist behavior. But just because they use context as an excuse does not mean that context is irrelevant to the conversation. You can ask people to stop using the N-word and focus on institutional racism as well. You definitely totally can, but by acting as though it is the language usage itself that enables the racism, rather than the sentiments perpetuated by it, that's the big problem. And I sense a Streamlab that I missed. Wait, did I? Wait, did you? Oh. Ciancius, thank you so much for the $1. Yeah, Ciancius. The it only TTS is $5 or more. I don't know why people are acting like you just came on stream and said a racial slur. You didn't. I don't think it's bullshit. Someone can say it, someone not saying it. Established. It's okay. Yeah. I don't know. Listen. This is a new audience. This is a new group of people, and soon. Oh no. May 9123, can I lick your pet lizard? First of all, thanks for the 2 Australian bucks, and for 2, you can. Some of them are clean. And Ashley Exlin? Eskelson? Thank you very much for the $2, using my free super chat to you because I'm poor. Don't worry about it, my friend. Thank you so much for the $2. I'm happy to be the recipient of that free super chat. Wait, who wants to debate me? Oh, no. Coldest sun? Sure, fine. Yeah, sure. Coldest sun. Sure, fine, sure. Why not? Nothing better to do in my life. Join my Discord. The Discord link is in the... The Discord link is in the description beneath the video. Join my Discord, then join the Come Here to Argue with Vosh channel in my Discord. Don't waste my time. This had better be a good-ass argument. Who's the person who wants to argue with me? What's their name again? Coldest Sun. And there's somebody else who wants to argue with me. Somebody called Skylar Post. But I agreed to argue with Coldest Sun. There we go. Well, hold on 1 second. Coldest Sun, you're live on air.
Yo, it's good, dude.
Howdy. This had better be spectacular. I'm pretty riled up right now.
Alright, I get it. Please don't ban me, though.
I won't ban you.
But,
Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Are you black?
yeah.
No, I'm racist if I disagree with you. Fuck! Alright, let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Absolutely, bro. Okay. So really my whole thing with it, right?
Yeah.
What's the point of anybody using the N-word? It's just it's such a destructive, disturbing, like, all it can ever do is cause harm and pain to people. I don't think it's funny. I don't think it should be used by anybody. But I'm not going to prevent anybody from using it.
But you are arguing that I not use it.
Yes, I am.
That is kind of preventing me from using it.
I wouldn't say it's really, like, for example, what I'm arguing is that you shouldn't be, for example, you shouldn't be removed from a platform if you have been found to have been saying it offline. But it should be something that people find and, like, morally unethical, I guess.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'm really nervous right now.
You don't
actually.
need to be nervous, friend. I'm not going to go... Well, no, wait, I can't guarantee that. I might go off on you, but you're fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
Also, you have a nice speaking voice, so...
Thanks, man.
No problem. So, listen, if you don't find it funny and you don't want people to use it around you, I think that's a perfectly agreeable position. But what if, for example, I had... And I hate to use this hypothetical, but I'm going to build my argument piece by piece. What if I had a black friend who felt as though when I used the N-word while making jokes, not, mind you, racist jokes, merely jokes which involve racism, jokes very often where the butt of the joke is the racist, not the affected race, if they found such jokes funny and I made such jokes around them, would you still argue this is an unethical interaction?
Yes, because why can't you just say N-word or Negro? They hold the same meaning, yet at the same time, they don't invoke the same kind of racial baggage, I guess.
Well, that's
They
the
don't
point.
invoke, like, you are property.
The racial baggage would be part of the joke, especially if the butt of the joke is the racist saying it. You can't really make a joke where you're playing the role of a racist and making fun of your own absurdity, but then say the N-word. That sort of destroys the
But
punchiness of the joke.
at the same time, why can't you say Negro?
Well, I mean, I could, but why can't I say the N-word if I feel the N-word is funnier?
Because it's a much more, I guess, direct example. I don't know. I feel like I'm arguing from feeling at this point.
There's
And I'm
nothing
sure a
wrong
lot
with your
of people would
feelings.
agree with me by saying that, and if I that the word Negro carries much less kind of direct negative moral, like, I'm struggling to find the word, moral and this, like, the same kind of taboo it carries around it, the same way that Negro carries that kind of thing, because that seemed like Negro is something more like like something you'd find on an HBO special where you can't really go too far into saying something bad. Like,
No, I understand the feelings the word evokes, but if you want to say that I shouldn't say it in contexts where it's not engaging in any demonstrable harm, such as when I'm alone with my girlfriend, you have to make an argument as to how the use of the word itself is immoral.
all right, okay. So I find the use of the word immoral simply because it
Oh, hold on,
does
your mic is
affect.
doing some backflips right now. Did you just like rustle it or something?
I'm talking through my phone, so
I gotcha.
okay, I'll try to keep it like stable. But the main thing is that by saying it around your girlfriend might find it. You know what? No, I'm not going to argue that. By saying it privately,
Mhm.
you're still creating this, I guess, ability for escalation. Like, you could say it, just the fact that you could say it to another person who might not agree with you. Like, if it's, I guess, if it's between the two of you, it's fine. I wouldn't like you to use it, but it's fine. And societally. But if
Okay,
you
if I'm
say
not
it,
engaging in any societal harm, if the only two people involved in the interaction are consenting to it, and neither of us are racist, then what's the issue?
yes, if neither of you are racist, then neither of you will ever say anything like that outside of that situation to anybody else who could possibly behold a negative point of view regarding that. And by the way, I feel like, for one thing, the fact that you've said that it's
What?
okay to this large
A
group
quick,
of people
a quick
will
moment, just a second,
encourage.
just a moment, just a moment. Andrew Shiwan, Vosh, if someone asked you to not, would you? A fucking course, you fucking idiot. Why the fuck? When in this discussion have I said I would use the N-word around people who aren't comfortable with that fucking language? You absolute smooth. The fact that you can't intuit this from my speech is incredible to me. It's like missing the forest for the fucking leaves. It's incredible. Why the fuck? What have I done to suggest to you that I would be with some, and I'd say like haha N-word or whatever, and they'd be like, hey Vosh, stop that, I'm not really comfortable, and I'd be like, no, I'm not racist, I can say it. What the fuck is wrong with you, you fucking idiot? I'm sorry, please continue.
I kind of lost my train of thought, but the main thing
Me
in
too.
which I was saying is that the fact that this large of a group of people have heard you make an argument for saying thing like the N-word in private situations, some of them are going to take that the wrong way. Like, for example, this guy who just tuned in that you just like went off on, he didn't entirely see your argument. Well, essentially what I'm saying is that if the way you if you say it to a large enough group of people, somebody's going to misunderstand it and eventually that's going to create some kind of societal harm.
Yeah, but I don't.
Like,
You mean say the
even-
N-word or say that I have said the N-word?
And say that saying the N-word can be acceptable in certain circumstances.
Yeah, because I believe
part
that's
in
because I
itself.
believe that's true. But I have always been very openly, very expressly anti-racist. I ban racists. I
Understand
argue
that
with
you
racists.
I understand that you're anti-racist and don't believe in like saying in hurting people that way. It's just there are people in this chat, for example, that might not feel the same way, who are okay with kind of dialing that out to larger amounts of people.
Hold
Like,
up, one
I mean,
one
so
sec.
for example, if I
one
go
one
to
second,
my
if I may, because
friend
I have to
Ryan-
respond to chat. Somebody said it's not necessary, though. None of the speech you use is necessary, you fucking idiot. You can use whatever language you want. I don't need to prove why words I use in given contexts are necessary. You have to prove why they're immoral. And Whiskers Scuttlebum, why is this the hill you want to die on? Because I'm right. And everything that I'm saying is truthful, and I'm an honest person. I'm not going to skip over this and let people who disagree with me think they get a free pass because you've bullied me into believing that by saying the N-word, I'm casting a racism spell. All right. Sorry,
So, for example, if I said, if my friend Ryan saw this video, for example, he might walk away seeing it being like, okay, so if I say it to this one friend, and it's okay as long as we're both consenting and we're both not racist. The thing is, if Ryan doesn't know, for example, let's say like Jared better, if Ryan doesn't know Jared as well as you know your girlfriend, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jared might think, okay, so since this is all right, I can just go ahead and spread this to someone else. Say this.
I
to someone else.
feel like we've shifted our goalposts somewhat, because originally your argument was that I shouldn't use the N-word in jokes with my girlfriend, but now you're saying that I shouldn't say that there are some contexts in which the use of that word is okay publicly, because then in that situation some people might take that message and use it in an inappropriate manner. So are you conceding then that there's nothing societally harmful about me and my girlfriend using that language privately?
Yes, I am conceding that. If
Okay.
you and your girlfriend say it privately and you're both like good people and don't want to spread that to other people, then that's fine. That's good.
Okay, I do not buy the argument that the rhetoric I have engaged in enables racism. All I have said is that we have to focus on the sentiment behind racism rather than the language used to describe it. Language is and always will be a combination of signifiers. Language in and of itself means nothing. It's the associated values. I think that by focusing the conversation around the language people use, the signifiers, rather than that which is signified, it actually makes it much more difficult to ascertain racism. If there's a person who hears this and they're like, oh, well, now I can say the N-word or whatever, then they're clearly not engaging in the critical processes which would allow them to understand the nature of racism to the extent I do.
Okay. So wait, so what you're saying is that it doesn't really matter if if people misunderstand this and that ends up creating societal harm?
Yeah, but you can say that about anything I say that isn't 100% completely fucking orthodox. Like somebody could come on stream and argue with me, and that person could say like, black people today in America have the hardest time of any racial minority of any group in history of any time in the entire history of the human world. And then I could get up and say, well, that's not actually true. I can think of several groups throughout human history that have had it worse than black people. And then some racist watching could extrapolate that and think like, black people don't have it hard at all. If I say anything that isn't completely lockstep orthodox, it's possible for people to interpret that in the wrong way. But I think I do a pretty good job making it clear that I in no way stand for racism and that I fight against it at every available opportunity.
Okay, all right.
You know what I mean? Like, listen. I completely believe that content creators are responsible for the attitudes that they bring about in their audiences. No, hold on. I have to ban someone in chat. Some very stupid people.
I'm actually gonna start writing this stuff down because, like, I feel like I've been kind of mentally losing track of what that's being said. So content creators are responsible for the message they put out, but not responsible for the misunderstanding of that message.
No, I'm responsible for everything that everyone takes from what I say. And I curtail my language in ways that I believe will bring about the best results for my audience. However, I also have an obligation to be truthful. And the thing that I am saying right now is, at least in line with my understanding of theory, truthful. So if I have to say something which is truthful but may cause people to misinterpret it and go about and do bad things, or something which is perfectly orthodox and incapable of being misinterpreted but not truthful, I'm gonna have to find a happy balance somewhere. And in this instance, I am choosing to side with truthfulness. I have made it extraordinarily clear that I am not in any way, shape, or form encouraging people to go out and say the N-word more or anything to that effect. Only that we have to reassess the way in which we associate language usage with racism.
Okay.
Hey! Stop spamming fucking letters in chat. I'll ban all of you. All right, sorry. Continue.
So what you're saying is that you try to curtail your language in a way that produces good for society, the war, and just like makes people walk away knowing your message, but at the same time that conflicts with your need to be truthful, which will cause you to curtail your language less.
Yeah, because like, wait, let me give you an example, okay? Let me give you an example. Are you at all a fan of or familiar with Destiny?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know about him and the incest memes? The jokes about like incest, how he defends incest?
Yes, I do.
Okay, well, this is a very easy argument from his perspective. His argument is that incest is morally neutral; it's not a bad thing, and that there are instead things that are associated with incest, such as inbreeding or power dynamic abuse, which are themselves bad. But this does not make incest bad. He's right, by the way. He's objectively fucking right. And when he makes this argument, he is being truthful, but there is this very slim possibility that in spite of him explicitly saying not to do this, that there are people who are going to read his argument as an actual defense of incest rather than an ethical exploration of the specific circumstances which might lead it to be ethical or unethical. So much in the same vein as that, and if this becomes my incest language, then fucking kill me. Much in the same way as that, we are in a situation where we are explaining the ethics of a given contentious subject, and it is possible that people interpret it in ways which are harmful to society, but I think I am making a very good faith effort to prevent that from being the case. Does that make sense? Because I know I'm making a good faith effort to prevent that from being the case.
Yes, that makes sense to me. I understand.
But like I wanna make this super fucking clear, because like this is super Oh, I'm sorry, I cut you off. Could you repeat that?
It's really just the last part of your argument that's bothering me.
Could you reiterate that?
Like the N-word shouldn't be associated. Like, am I misrepresenting you when I say that you believe that things like the N-word should not be tied to race? Like words like the N-word shouldn't have a kind of negative connotation when being tied to race? Or
No. I'm sorry. If I haven't made myself clear enough then in that respect. The N-word is absolutely a fucking racist word, like 100%. And when that word is used, the N-word, it does and it should dredge up all of the negative associations around it. I don't mean to make the N-word just like a nothing word, or to reclaim it in the same way that, for instance, queer has been reclaimed by LGBT people. That's not my goal. Rather, it is that the contexts behind that word can be brought up in a way which do not in themselves enable or perpetuate racism. So, for example, and the Zizek argument, I think, illustrates this. He didn't say the N-word, but he made a racist joke, the joke that all black people look the same, classic racism. But in that context, because he was a far leftist speaking with people who are fans of his, so are presumably themselves far leftist, and also not only far leftist but also black men, the subject of that joke. Whoa, you good?
Wait, yeah, I'm good.
The phone vibrated?
Yeah, it was.
Gotcha, just making sure. So in the context of this joke, he was not making fun of black people or actually saying they all look the same. At least as I interpret it, he was looking at them.
He evoked it in a way which did not bring up racism.
Right,
Which did not like evoke racism.
Right, he evoked it. He evoked it, but in a manner of sympathy.
In a manner of sympathy?
Like, he evoked it in a way to bring about sympathy, to express sympathy. This is the racist joke. I am aware of the joke, and so are you. Neither of us believe it, but by being mutually aware of it, I express to you my disdain for the logic behind the joke.
Okay, wait.
This has actually been a really good discussion for me broadly, because all the people who like lurk in my audience and secretly hate me are making themselves evident, and I can ban them.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah.
Glad to making your job easier.
Yeah, thanks for helping me out. But you get my point, right? I can tell by speaking with you that you're careful with your language and you're not a fucking dumbass. I want people to have a more nuanced perspective on this issue.
All right. So, what you're saying is that in making that racist joke about all black people looking alike, he's bringing to light, in a sense, the fact that that is happening more than, and he's more than just that he's like, just without even doing anything, without having any kind of connotation on top of that, evoking racism.
Yeah.
Because I believe that that statement exists in a vacuum, and without, like, that statement can, if somebody just says it, if somebody doesn't just, like, if somebody hasn't had the same kind of track record that you have, that thing can be evoked. And if it's being evoked in a vacuum, it can be kind of torn apart into two different directions. Like one direction for a person who wants to take sympathy for it, and one person who agrees that all black people look alike and have no personal individuality.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's a way of bringing things to light. I'll give you an example. I'll make myself the subject of this, okay? When I say about how I use the N-word while making jokes with my partner late at night or whatever, and I say these jokes aren't racist, I can say specifically what the context of these jokes are. Usually it's me rambling about white nationalists on YouTube or Twitter or what have you, or like I think the most recent time was with Stefan Molyneux, you know, that guy, fucking white nationalist piece of shit. Race IQ, yeah. So, very often I will play a caricature of these people, and we all do this if we're very heated up. We'll assume the role of this person, and we'll make our voice sound silly, and we'll say something stupid from their perspective. And very often when I do so from their perspective, I'll say something like, "These fucking N-words, the skull shape can't comprehend the superiority of my, they'll never understand my YouTube video, and they can't," or something like that. And I'll go on this tirade where I adopt their hyperbolized mannerisms, and if they're racist, I'll use the N-word, because the butt of the joke, the punch of it, is that they're horrid people. And I bring about that in the use of the language that I assume they would use in private. I know for a fucking fact that Molyneux uses the N-word in private. Huh?
I actually think we're agreeing right now. Like, there's nothing that I can really, like, if you're just saying this in private in kind of a satirical way, then yeah, I completely agree with you.
Yeah, that's what there's so much heatedness around this, because I feel like a lot of people are very uncharitable to me because I have a contentious history. But I think when they hear me say like, "Oh, I say they what they think in their head is like, Vosh will go online and talk about racism." Huh?
What do you mean by a contentious history?
Oh, I've spent literally my entire online career has been defined by drama and yelling at people. Uh, but
Well, specifically relating to this.
oh no. I don't have like a racially contentious history or anything like that.
Oh, okay.
I've always been very orthodox on race issues. I come down hard on racists. But I think what people imagine in their head is that I say like, oh yeah, like Vosh closes the computer and goes in the room where he then starts making jokes about black people committing more crime because of their skull shape or something. And I think it's very uncharitable, I think, and very cancel culture-y to look at me and my works and my public presence and then to extrapolate the worst. You didn't do that. You came on very respectfully, very what's the term? Cognitively. But some people in chat my fucking big brain rage.
I mean, I was just really nervous for the first half of it, man.
What? No. I'm enjoying speaking with you.
All right, cool. But so what you say? So yeah, I think we just agree. I think our discussion's over at this point.
I will say, because I can agree with you on this. The only reason why I make the jokes in which I use the N-word in the context of being my girlfriend is because I've known her for like 3 years,
Yeah,
I
get it, man.
yeah.
Like you
But
said.
like to those in the audience, like this doesn't mean you should use the N-word more. It should just don't. Just if there's any doubt, don't. I don't know. Okay, I love you. You know I love you, right?
That's pretty gay, though. I mean.
Oh, it's pretty fun.
all right.
Oh, it's extreme. Hey, it's very gay. I love you.
Yeah, Dan.
All right.
All right, peace.
Thank you for talking with me. I appreciate the discussion. Did he just leave? He just left. What a fucking Chad. Not even saying goodbye a second time. Just fucking whoop. Okay. I missed some donations. Whisker Scuttlebum, thanks for the $2. The real N-word is nuance. I guess. And it's gone. Thank you for the $2. I wouldn't write it in an episode of Sesame Street. I'm gonna say it. I also would not put the N-word in an episode of Sesame Street. Hold on. Vosh, do you think this whole ordeal happened because the internet blurred the line between private and public speech? I mean, that's definitely part of it, but I brought this on myself, right? Like, I've always been very public about the fact that I occasionally, like, use the N-word. And I do this because I think it's important that people not look for the N-word itself, but rather the racism it almost always signifies. If I can use the N-word in a way which doesn't signify racism, that's not bad. But there are ways to signify racism without the N-word, and that is bad. So I think people just come at it from the... Wait, and yet you didn't call him out in the low-key homophobia feels bad? What? No, if I say I love you and a dude says, hey, that's gay, like, no, I don't think that's homophobia. No. I mean, I don't know for a fact he's not homophobic, but I'm not going to assume from that. You people are so uncharitable. DeJuan Eastman, thanks for the $2, friend. I really appreciate it. Don't hurt yourself getting worked up about chat. Not good for any mental health ever. Actually, oh, that was good. That was okay. Hyena, thank you. I'm sorry. I love you. I discovered Vosh through his N-word usage. Well, there you go. There was good. Can I get on the Discord to elaborate on your earlier point about racists now avoiding the N-word in favor of euphemisms? Is there much to debate there? Hackapeel, do you... Because I know racist people do also use the N-word. I was talking about, like, acceptable public discourse a la the Southern strategy. You know, right? Will I finish the video? Yeah, of course I'll finish the video. Hackapeel, do you have, like, a hot take? If you have a hot take, I'll bring you on, but only for a bit, okay? Give me a different look at him. I don't believe Zizek is racist personally, but I could be wrong. But what is important is what he's done. I think some people are really uncharitable. I think that Zizek's history indicates he's not but I don't know. Whether or not Zizek is racist up here in his head, the work he does publicly is anti-racist. Can you do a John Doyle or something? I want to have fun? Maybe. It's not to debate. I feel like you missed a part of it. Yeah, Hackapeel, come on. Hackapeel, join the fucking, come here to argue with me. Oh no, there are like 4 people in the voice screen thing, but you can't just be there and I'll debate with you. You gotta fucking make me mad in chat first. Can we talk about snakes? No. Snakes are not as cool as geckos. Already screened. I'd love to talk about private use of the N-word and how it lends itself to more usage. Oh no. Okay. God damn it. Hold on. I'm giving Charlie Britt 5 minutes. All right, Charlie Britt, you're live on air. I'm giving you 5 minutes. I'm pretty heated right now. Hello? 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 Well, such is life. I'm going to move you back to the other. All right, who was the person who wanted to talk with me? Oh, God. Hackapeel. Hackapeel, what's your fucking... Oh, no, now Charlie Britt's talking. Kill me. I hate this. Charlie Britt. Nope. Nope, your shit is not coming through. Good luck. I love you. Good luck. Hackapeel, what's your fucking comb poster? Oh, okay. Comb poster. Gotcha. All right, you're live. Hit me up, come person.
All right, so, fuck, am I here now?
You are here and you are live. Millions of people can hear you.
You talked about how the overfocus on the word specifically had just made the racists now instead use euphemisms. In general, obviously, like they still use the N-word a lot. But really, like, I don't understand what your alternative to that would really be. Because, like, the reason they don't use the N-word now is specifically because it was used to identify racists. Right?
Right.
So, like, what's the alternative to this? I didn't quite understand your point, really, is probably what it comes down to.
Sure, and I have to keep this quick because your microphone sounds like it's in a wind tunnel, and I have respect for my audience. But we can keep it quick, because I have to keep it quick anyway, because I want to fucking die. It's not a matter of ignoring language entirely. It's about recognizing the fact that there is a schism between the signifier and the signified. Racist language, like to say the N-word or like colored people or to call black people like boy or whatever. This
I'm giving you
oh,
$5 to say stop being so nice to these people and just tell them. No, when you don't want to do something they all want to say some samey stuff, don't feel bad. Saying no please your time is important.
Hyena, thank you very much for telling me to be mean to my fans. Jesus. And also Dujuan Eastman, thank you so much for the $25. Wish I could talk to add to the unsaid nuance. Trust me, this will come up again. This is not the last time we're having this fucking conversation. So Hackapeel, to continue, my apologies. To introduce a schism between the signified and the signifier. And there are reasons for this. The reason is that it is possible to use the N-word in ways that are not racist. I think I provided a good example when I am doing a caricature of Stefan Molyneux, who is himself a tremendous racist, and I am doing it with my girlfriend alone, and I know, or at least I have every reason to believe, that she is not racist, and I know for a fact that I am not. But there are also many instances, and this is quite common, where racism is denoted without the language signifiers. And it should be the sentiment, the signified, which we look for, not the signifier itself. Now, very often, the two coincide. Like, if a person walks down the street and says, like, fuck you, N-word, except, of course, they don't say the N-word, they say the word itself, I'm not going to think, well, language itself is not inherently racist. It's entirely possible that he was using this in a... No, of course not. Obviously, there are degrees of reasonability we have to engage in here. Very often the two coincide. But the reason why it's important to recognize that sometimes they do not is because it would help us further identify the mannerisms and behavior of people who dog whistle the same things. This is why it's very frustrating to me when people say, wow, the left is more violent. Look at leftist figures online. Look at Vosh. He's constantly crying for violence against the capitalists, but look at my show. Says for example, a Nazi like Nicolas Fuentes, who never actively calls for violence, but everything that he says leads normatively to the decision to engage in widespread social violence. The assignment of at all times the signified to the signifier dampens the mind and prevents us both from acknowledging the existence of dog whistling and from acknowledging the existence of what I might call the sympathetic invocation of the signifier. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't really disagree with that at all.
I'm
To be
sorry about the
honest,
rant, by the way.
No, don't worry about it. Like, I'm really just trying to get a handle on your perspective on this, because as I understand it, the reason they don't use the N-word anymore, specifically, is that it was easy to identify them by that kind of language, right? But that's kind of like what we're trying to do to begin with, right? Like, we're trying to identify racists in order to socially exclude them in some manner,
Right.
right? Like, that's
yeah.
kind of the goal here.
Right, and
But-
that's why, and it's about levels
But
of
we can't,
charitability.
Yeah, but we can't. I don't see a way to both identify racists by their language, whatever language that may be. It used to be the N-word, now it's, different things like globalists.
Yeah,
et cetera,
globalist and
It's-
crime rates and demographic shifts and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they use different euphemisms now, but the point is the same, and we're trying to just keep up with these things. But how do we? I don't really know how to formulate this, but I'm gonna give it a try. Like, how do we manage to both use these things to identify racists, and obviously we want. Excuse me?
You cut out for a moment. Could you repeat?
Like, how do we identify racists by their current racist language, while also obviously discouraging others from cloaking them? Like, we don't want people to say the N-word, even if they don't mean it in a racist way themselves, because it muddies the water, if nothing else.
Yeah, the
Right.
way I like to do this personally, and I have to say this, and then I got to get back to the Zizek video because I feel bad.
Oh yeah, please do.
But at least my personal approach to this is that even when I'm just speaking with the most fucking mask-off racist people, I am usually pretty consistent about addressing the racism rather than the language. And I've had arguments with like Nazis who will say the N-word just like freely. They'll say the N-word. They hate black people. They hate trans people. They'll say Tranny. What is the T slur? They'll engage in all this language. I never criticize them on the language. I always criticize them on what they mean by the language, and I learned this early. Whenever I would focus on language critique, the argument would immediately dissolve into a fucking chaotic smorgasbord of irony and context and intent and usage and whether they sincerely mean it. But if I focused on the things they are signifying with the language, I find I can get to the meat of the argument much more efficaciously. Oh, well, why do you say the N-word? Do you think that black people are less of a person than white people? Do you think they engage, like there's some genetic predisposition towards crime? And if I can get to that rather than centralizing the language discussions, I feel I have much more success.
That's entirely fair, to be honest. I don't think we disagree on anything. I was
Hey.
just hoping to get your perspective, and
Hey.
I think I did. So,
Hey, you've got a really cute accent.
thank you.
I love you.
I get that. I'll talk to you later, or not, I guess. But you know what I mean.
Maybe you will, friend. All right, have a good one, okay?
Yeah. Same to you.
Okay, We're done. We're done with the call-ins. That guy was very nice. I'm not saying that I didn't like him, but we're done with the call-ins. Dre Zale, give me 10 minutes for Venezuela memes. Nope. Everyone in the voice channel. Nope. I'm sorry. Get out. I love you. Nope. Get out. I don't like the N-word because the history behind it, but I can't say whether or not someone else should say it. But some trans people get mad at me for saying the T-slur. Yeah, it's such a... It's a big smorgasbord. I don't know. For what it's worth, by the way, I never ever say the T-slur because while the...
I like when you are kind yet firm. Wholesome argumentation. Heart, by the way, removing top bun helps with air cooling.
Non-authority, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I try my best. I'll try not to be angry so often. Thank you, seriously. But Ciancius, it should be noted, I never, ever, ever say the T-slur. I never say it. And the reason for this is because the logic of the... What does the N-word mean? Or trap. I never say trap. This is the thing to which I'm referring. Because what does the N-word mean? Well, the N-word means black person. That's what it means. It has other signifiers, but that's who it refers to. What does a trap mean? Well, in order to say the term trap, like, like to refer to a trans woman as a man who's dressing up as a woman to trick straight men, in order to say the term, you have to engage with the logic of the term. I don't necessarily think it's the same way with the N-word. Right. T-slur isn't trap, dude. It's training. I know. Hyena, I said that earlier. I changed my words. Okay. Retro XD just gave everyone the T-word pass. Ignore it. It is a trap. I know. Guys, I said... shut up. Can we finish this video?
Oh, you blacks like yellow guys, you look all the same. They embraced me and they told me, you can call me nigger.
Can we just appreciate this man's happiness one more time? Slavoj Žižek is a man most authentically pleased at his newfound ability to say the N-word, okay?
You know, when they tell you this, it means we are really close. They instantly got this. Oh, another stupid problem I had. At some talk, there was a mute and deaf guy, and he asked if a translator can be there. And I couldn't resist it. In the middle of the talk, in front of 200-300 people, I said, what are you doing there, guys? My idea was, if you watch the gestures of the translator, it looked to me as some obscene messages or what. The guy laughed so much, we become friends. Not only, and some old stupid lady reported me for making fun of crippled people.
He's still mad. It's like 15 years later, and sometimes Slavoj Žižek wakes up like sweating and with fucking rage because the one time the old Hey, my girlfriend in chat is right. You people who are laughing at this joke but didn't at the N-word joke, it is literally the same thing. In both instances, a joke is made at the expense of a member of a marginalized community. In this instance, it was even done to a public front, and the member of the marginalized community liked it, and we laugh afterwards. This is the same thing. And which is to say, by the way, that both of them are perfectly fine.
It was so, didn't she see? That's how I became friend with the guy. But wait a minute, now I'm not an idiot. I'm well aware this doesn't mean we should just walk around and humiliate each other. It's a great art how to do it.
A great art.
I'm just saying that's my hypothesis. Without such a tiny exchange of friendly obscenities, you don't have a real contact with another. It remains this cold respect and so on, you know. We need...
The T word should receive the same treatment. What treatment? Guy, I literally, when I make jokes at the expense of trans people, it's usually just like the same shit they make about the, like, horny trans girls, haha, pickles, haha, what do you call a group of horny trans girls? A Discord server? That kind of shit. And I usually make it with my trans friends.
Need this. We need this to establish a real contact. This is what is lacking for me in political correctness. And then you end up in madness. Like, it's not a joke. I checked it up with my Australian friends. You know what happened in Perth, the West Coast Australian city? It's not a joke, I repeat it. The opera house there prohibited staging of Carmen. Opera, Carmen. You know why? Because the first act takes place in front of a tobacco factory. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. I'm just saying that there is something so fake about political correctness. I know it's better than open racism, of course.
I just really, really wish that people on the left were capable of engaging with these ideas a little bit more openly and honestly. What's the term? It is the signifier of a great mind to be able to consider an idea from every angle and then to reject it. Destiny made a video about labor exploitation. Well, what are you gonna do? But do you understand? There's more nuance to the like, I don't dislike fascism just because I know fascism is bad, so I hate it. I dislike fascism, and I can concretely and thoroughly explain how the tenets of fascism and the tendencies that it brings about in its constituents lead to a broad opposition to the social goals that I believe meet my axiomatic values. I can do this for everything that I dislike, and I can do the opposite for everything that I like. I don't just dislike things because I know they're bad. This is very anti-intellectual. The left is supposed to be the academic, the thinker. We are supposed to be able to engage with these ideas. So please, please, engage in them with me.
But I wonder if it works, because, you know, I never, for example, bought all this permanent replacement, you know. Niggers are Negroes.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Negroes are black. Okay, black are African Americans. Maybe it's up to them to decide. The only thing I know is that when I was in Missoula, Montana, I got engaged in a very friendly conversation with some Native Americans. They hate the term, and they gave me a wonderful reason. They told me, Native American, and you are cultural Americans, or what? We are part of nature. They told me, we much prefer to be called Indians. At least our name is a monument to white man's stupidity, who thought they are in India when they come here.
Ija in chat with the $5 says, what do you think about Steven Crowder's socialism is for fags? I mean, it's true. Fully automated luxury gay space communism, right? Gays right in there. For real though, it's an incredibly tactless shirt. Pretty mask off. But we know, like, it's not the thing to get worked up about, you know? Like, funny, haha, homophobia. Vosh, do you support the idea of a workers' state? Yeah, of course.
And they had such a wonderful insight into how all this new age bullshit, you know, we white people technologically exploit nature while natives relate to nature in a dialogic way, like before they dig into earth, they ask the mountain for permission if they are mining, blah, blah. They told me that their research shows that Native Americans, Indians, killed much more buffaloes and burned much more forests than white people.
This is super fucking important because I learned about this relatively recently in the later years of my schooling. Oh boy, is this important. Nothing triggers me faster than fucking white liberals like wistfully dreaming about Native American society as though it was some kind of like idyllic, harmonious spiritual bond with nature where they were all super happy all the time. No, they were humans, and humans, as a rule, tend to fuck their environments. That's what happens when we get big. And Native Americans were big. There were like, weren't there, wait, hold on. Yeah, how many were killed by disease? Because it wasn't like 90% of the population of America. Before Columbus, estimations range between 2 to 18 million people. That's a fuckload of people. 2 to 18 million. They would, and the shit, people like, oh, the native man lived in harmony with his environment and they just did the dances and they lived peacefully, and then the white man came and what? No, fucking, are you fucking kidding me? They were brutalizing each other long before we got to that continent. Now, we did it worse. I'm not saying we didn't do it bad, but they were doing that shit too. They were destroying the environment. They were doing all sorts of shit. It's super fucking paternalistic and patronizing when people talk about Native Americans as though they were like the enlightened indigenous people. It is literally the invocation of the magical Negro trope. We know that? Hold on. A supporting stock character who comes to the aid of white protagonists in a film. What these tend to be, they're like, it's like the noble savage shit. It's literally just like they're closer to the earth, they're more primitive, they're closer to the environment and to the earth and to Mother Nature than us, and this affords them a special kind of wisdom. It's literally that. Yeah, the noble savage. Yeah, the noble savage is a better invocation of this than the magical Negro, yes. It's the same thing.
You know why this was the correct point? Like, the message was, the most racist thing is to patronizingly elevate us in that, you know, primitive, organic, living together with Mother Nature. No, their fundamental right is to be evil also. If we can be evil, why shouldn't they be evil? And so on.
This is something that Zizek and Peterson talked about in their debate. Peterson, very stupidly at the beginning, said that the occult Marxists falsely believed that he wrote that society would be good after the proletarians assumed power because all proletarians are good and all bourgeois are evil. So, of course, when the proletarians seize power, they'll be good because they're good. And then Zizek later in the debate said that he does find it very patronizing when people, usually white liberals, will assume the inherent goodness of indigenous people or of marginalized communities or what have you. For example, with black Americans, this paternalistic incapability of acknowledging their capacity to do wrong. Like if a black person does something wrong under any circumstances, you dredge up the sociological explanation. You know, oh, black crime rates are, a product of society because of the low we've redlining and the lower educational standards that we set for those communities and police discrimination and the school to prison pipeline stuff. And while these things are, of course, true, there is also the fact that black people are perfectly capable of just being shit people. The paternalistic... Oh, did we just ban Asher Scott? Is Asher Scott dead? They seemed nice. What happened? Oh, no. Oh, okay. Just one message got removed. All right. All right, let's finish this. Let me in chat? Wait, why? No. I like birds. Why would I?
No, so again, even with racism, one has to be very precise not to fight racism in a way which ultimately reproduces, if not directly, racism itself at least the conditions for racism.
Okay? This was a good-ass video, and I think that Slavoj Žižek presented some pretty dope arguments here. They're not bulletproof. He's totally open to critique. He's only a human. It's totally possible that he's wrong, but I think he posited some pretty strong arguments here. The fuck are we talking about? Do you ever think political correctness is just a way liberals can avoid thinking about systemic problems? Yes. I mean, that's almost literally what I've been talking about for 2 hours. Oh, okay, just making sure. What are your opinions on Die Heimlich Aufmarsch? If only I knew what the fuck that was. But sadly, I do not. Okay. How do I fight racism? I don't... If you're white, kill yourself. Keep missing my messages, bro. Well, it's almost as though like 550 people are watching and chat's moving fast, Adisa. What are you saying? It's a song? Fuck songs. $180 chat revenue. That came only from this stream, or is it total chat revenue from every stream you've done so far? No, that's just from this stream. Though this chat revenue is before YouTube takes their cut. I get 70% of what's shown here. I will never hide the amount of money that I get from you guys. I appreciate substantially every donation that I get. It really does mean a tremendous amount to me. Keep going until 7 p.m. I need to focus on my head. Hyena, I cannot promise that. Can you talk about white genocide conspiracy theory? But it's so dumb. I feel like everything that I would say would just be an inaccurate, like, repeat of things said in Sean and Jen's video on Lauren Southern and the Great Replacement Theory. PragerU or we riot? Yeah, I do have to do PragerU. I don't call myself a trap because I'm not pretty enough. Ciancius! Don't call yourself a trap because you're a woman, not a man pretending to be a woman. Jesus. Did you comment on the Kendrick Lamar concert incident with the white fan repeating lyrics verbatim and getting booed? I didn't comment on that, but I do think it's pretty funny. Oh, God. I don't want to comment on that. People are going to get mad at me again. Did you ever explain your own leftist ideology? I mean, I'm an anarcho-syndicalist, but I mostly just argue against capitalism. Are you still going to watch PragerU? Yeah, probably. Are you familiar with new black media figures such as Jason Black, a.k.a. the Black Authority? He interviews Nazis in one of his films. No, I'm not familiar. The only like great black political figure that I have been blessed to be familiar with is none other than Jesse Lee Peterson, who I believe actually represents a market step forward.
Is out of
for race relations in the United States.
Michigan. Multiple sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis.
Anyway, Michael, thank you, buddy. Go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. First of all, Jesse, I'm the one. I'm usually in your chat room sometime as Michael Frazier Jr.
Oh, okay.
I was calling. I wanted to answer your biblical question.
Do you love all people?
Absolutely, yes.
And have you always loved all people?
Say that again, Jesse. And I agree with you. Until the black men wake up and see that the women, even though they holler about, oh, I'm a strong black woman and I'm this, I'm that, they're really weak.
Yes.
Because they're not even unable to turn down temptation, let alone try to, turn around the community. So I agree with you 100%. Until the men wake up, it's only going to get worse. It can only get worse.
That's right.
Oh, goodness. You should do a How the Left Can Unity stream. Aiden Heron, thanks for the $2. I would love to talk about anti-sectarianism, unironically. Leftist disunity, leftist infighting really fucking triggers me. I ban sectarian arguing in my stream. Not my stream, in my Discord. And Ciancius, true, I originally took trap to mean easily passing trans woman on my way year 1 on hormones. Oh, well, nice. Congratulations, Ciancius. I love you.
When are you going on JLP? You never respond to me in chat, so here is some dollary dues.
A Jew for you. For one, I'm pretty sure I do respond to you. For two, thank you for the $5. And for three, I would unironically fucking love to get on Jesse Lee Peterson's show. Holy shit. Oh my god, that'd be a fucking dream for me. Are you kidding me? Oh god. Oh, HK, thank you so much for the 15 pounds. That's very generous of you. Good night and thank you. Well, good night to you, my friend. What is it? It's 1:39 over there, right? For the English time zone. You're giving me pounds, so I assume England. Have a wonderful sleep, friend. And thank you for the support. And to finish my earlier point, Ciancius, congratulations on the 1 year of hormones. God. And Jason Trum with no message whatsoever. Thanks for the $5. Your message of calm, quiet support is incredibly appreciated. I would love to get on Jesse Lee Peterson's show. Oh my god. Absolutely. Can we find him talking about black people? Black people? What do black people really think about Black Lives Matter?
Excuse me, ladies. Have you heard of Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, we have.
You have? May I ask you a few questions? Just a couple questions
Sorry,
about that?
we're on a really tight time schedule right now. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, guys. Listen, Jesse Lee Peterson is a gold mine of content and a phenomenally interesting human.
I'm back once again and ready for more good takes this Florida evening.
Jojo Wax, thank you so much for the $5 donation. I'm really glad. I'm glad that you're back. I'm not glad you're in Florida, but I'm glad that you're back. Jesse Lee Peterson is a gold mine of content, but he is also definitely some kind of mentally ill. So, like, tread at your own. Is JLP a satire? No. JLP is actually some kind of, like, 50 IQ monstrosity.
Is Black Lives Matter an evil group or a good group?
Oh, hell yeah, it's a good group.
Is it a good group or an evil group?
I think it's a good group. I always thought it was a good group.
Just based on the name, my initial gut feeling would be that, of course, it's a great group.
You believe that the police are racist against black people?
Hell yeah, you got some out there. I got beat by police and he called me a nigger. Hell yeah.
Do you
Okay, all right, just throw it at me, yeah.
believe that cops are racist against black people? White cops are racist?
Definitely, some of them.
Everybody's racist towards every person, regardless. It's a natural part of our sin nature.
He was chasing me and he beat me down.
And they asked you to stop and you wouldn't stop?
Nah,
Why the
you
camera
right.
distortion?
Yeah, I didn't stop. He asked me to stop and I didn't stop.
So when they took you down, it was the right thing to do, because had you stopped, they would not have had to take you down, right?
You're right.
The mayor last night, he was in South Central LA.
That guy literally said the cops beat him and called him the N-word. And Jesse Lee Peterson was like, well, if you hadn't run, they wouldn't have had to do that.
And the mayor was holding a town hall meeting in a black church down in South Central, and he was attacked by Black Lives Matter.
It's really horrible that happened. I think it was ignited by a couple of persons that infiltrated.
Should the mayor have ended his meeting or had those people arrested from Black Lives?
Keep doing that.
He needed to get out for his safety.
I want to talk to the mayor. He's not in. They told me he's not here. So we're gonna.
Can you imagine being the mayor? The mayor. And you're like, all right, who's on the books today? Oh, well, we've got a man called Jesse here for you. Jesse who? Jesse Lee Peterson? Here? Oh God. And then you like look out and you peer out down the hallway. You're the tip of your head just appears around the side and you see him down there at the far end, like sitting on a couch with his legs spread wide. Amazing. God almighty. 1 second. Hey, can I show you guys something really cool? Vosh goes from defending the use of the N-word to laughing at black people. Oh no, Coldest Son, you're joking, right? I thought we came to an understanding. No, Coldest Son. Joking. Okay. All right. Okay. Coldest Son, you have to understand, I get triggered very easily. Oh no. Oh jeez. When do you get out of flirt jail so we can flirt? I don't know. I need a few more months, okay? The fucking people ass mad about the Poppy drama are very no-lifer. You should live stream and call Jesse Lee Peterson. He's got a live caller number. Holy fuck, you're right. That'd be good content. Wait. I want to show you guys something cool. Look at this. Look. Ta-da! It's a website. It's not my website. A friend of mine, White Nervosa, built this on her own website, but it all functions. And I'm going to purchase a domain, vosh.gg, just like destiny.gg, huh? Vosh.gg, and I'm gonna have it. It's gonna look like this. It's gonna have the embed from the YouTube stream, and that way we'll have a chat in there. It'll be just like Destiny's chat in that I'll be streaming on YouTube, but the embed will be in the website, and there I'll be able to customize the chat. We won't have to deal with really shitty like YouTube chat. We'll be able to have the custom fucking emotes. We'll be able to have like tags that we can use. We'll be able to have all that cool stuff. White Nervosa is like unironically the coolest human being in the fucking universe. She whipped this up like just without being asked. She was just like, "Hey, I'll just on my website, I'll code a prototype for your website." But yeah, we'll have like a sick ass chat. It's gonna be cool. Hey, new viewer here. You're cool, but can you not make trigger jokes? Honestly, feeding the same ableism as when the right uses it. Mayu the Kitsune. First of all, I'm glad you think I'm cool. For two, I don't know if that I can stop with the trigger jokes. I feel like there's a really strong rhetorical element to this, it adds to my authenticity as an edgy leftist, and it helps me convince right-leaning people when I show that I'm not sensitive, and doing the triggered shit kind of falls in with that. And I also think the trigger warning thing was never really like that good of an idea. Like, that was always kind of stupid. Content warnings were a good idea, like content warning abuse, kind of like a lot of videos have that before. But trigger warning is a little bit, I don't know, overly weighted maybe, or a little bit ham-fisted. I've always found like trigger warning to be kind of like awkward in use personally. But I want you to know, Mayu the Kitsune, like I have never in my life, and never will, make fun of people who unironically have triggers. Like, for PTSD, like rape survivor, complex PTSD, or any of that shit. None of that shit. And when I say the triggered thing, I'm really trying to just... People who just get upset very easily, really. But I don't know. But I love you, okay? I firmly believe that Jesse Lee Peterson is a white man that has reanimated the corpse of a random black person and did some pagan mad... It's a strong theory, okay? Don't stop being... Not applicable. Thank you very much for the $10. I'll put those $10 towards the construction of my server. Well, actually, I'll put it towards the... It's $100 a year to host the website. What's the chance that somebody buys Vosh.gg before him? They'd have to go back in time to do it. Let's see. Trigger warnings are based in therapy/psychology and should stay there, IMO. Hyena, can you stop giving me your fucking takes? People use content warnings these days. Trigger warnings give a list of ammunition to your enemies. I tend to agree. What do you think of Mike Gravel? I don't care much about him beyond the fact that it's cute that he gave some fucking Chapo Trap House kids the use of his Twitter account. I think trigger warnings are just content warnings. I have PTSD, so I give you a no, Ciancius, I love you, but it doesn't make me look very good when it looks like I'm cultivating fucking cards from people. Oh, God. Okay. When are you getting the new computer setup meme? Probably within a week? Vosh.ml? No, fuck that. Storyteller, I want people to be viscerally affected, aka triggered, but for a point, not for senseless sensationalism. Yeah, but you don't want to trigger, like, PTSD shit. That's not... What do you think about the East African Federation idea? I don't know enough about the subject to be able to comment on it. I think most of leftists don't have a coherent vision of how post-capitalist economy could look like. Can you please talk about it? Maybe, but that's a whole different stream. Dude, I was agreeing with you. Saint Hughes belong in the... Oh, Hyena. Sorry, I thought you were saying the use of the word should... Oh, okay, yeah. No. I agree with you then, Hyena. My apologies. Can we give some thanks for post-holiday candy sales? Oh, we can always give thanks for that. Gift or market or planned economy? Market economy. I like market economies. Okay. Weren't we looking at Jesse Lee Peterson? Blacks looting again, this time in North Carolina.
I want to just give you a quick update on the hurricane
Love you too, Pink
in North Carolina. It's an amazing experience they had over there, folks.
Amazing.
The Charlotte Observer, at
Charlotte.
least 32 have died in the storm in the Carolinas. Isn't that amazing? 32 people died.
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Jesse Lee Peterson is actually the most racist human being to have ever been born. He has an IQ somewhere below 40. Listen, when I think of Jesse Lee Peterson, I cannot not think that he's constantly hosting like a skid mark the size and shape of like a forearm in his underwear. Okay, I literally cannot envision him in any other way. The shit streak is component to my envisioning.
Thus far. This is from the Drudge Report.
Drudge Report.
The Drudge Report.
The Drudge. Listen, I need to calm down. Okay, this is me calming down.
And
wait, really quick question: would you classify anarcho-capitalism as right-wing or far right-wing? I would consider anarcho-capitalism far right-wing, without question. I feel like the problem of trigger warnings is just the word and optics it's presented. Probably, yeah. Aiden Heron, thanks for the $2. Black people loot, white people scavenge. Yep, 100% agree. Amazing how that double standard arises. All right, let me focus. Let me calm down a little.
And I'm sorry to have to report to you, but the blacks are shopping while the decent, innocent people,
The blacks are shopping while the decent, innocent people are what?
Away from their businesses and away from their homes.
Oh.
Due to the lack of safety, the blacks decide to go shopping.
They do shopping. Them blacks are at it again, just looting and stealing the decent folks' homes.
They always find it convenient to shop during disaster time.
Disaster time.
It's mind-blowing. This is from the Drudge Report. Looters capitalize on chaos. Isn't that something?
It does something.
And I just want you to see...
Looters have capitalized on chaos, like in every situation, like everywhere, like every time there's a disaster, people loot. This happens everywhere at all times.
The type of black people in our country today.
That is the type of black people in our country today. Oh God, what's the name of the condition that autistic people tend to have this? And I am autistic. What's the name of the condition that it compels people to repeat things they've just heard? Like if you hear a bird make a noise, you want to make the noise yourself, or you tend to repeat things that you hear. Because I get this hard with Jesse Lee Peterson.
Fox News.
As a white guy, can I accuse someone of being an Uncle Tom or not? I sure as fuck do. But only do it if you're positive you're not racist. Chat, don't fucking at me. I don't want to hear it. Echolalia.
Report on looting in North Carolina. Amid the hurricane/storm.
Our Fox News team has already
Oh.
witnessed looting in one hard-hit area on the North Carolina coast.
Paired with a video of white people.
John, we'd heard sporadic reports of looting prior to this, including in Wrightsville Beach, where there were some home break-ins where the hurricane actually hit the coast. But today we saw it with our own eyes. Not long ago in a neighborhood not far from downtown Wilmington, a lot of people went into a Family Dollar.
Yeah, if you want to call Jesse Lee Peterson and Uncle Tom, then please feel free to. I don't give a fuck who tells you not to. If calling Jesse Lee Peterson and Uncle Tom is racist, then I don't want to not be racist, okay?
Store, and we're walking out with armloads of goods.
Amazing. Black people, are you proud of your people?
People.
Are you proud of your people?
People.
Yo, people. I asked my producer when we were going over this morning. I said, were these black people? And he laughed, of course, and said, well, there was one light-skinned person. And
oh no.
Amazing back quote.
Amazing. Shub Negroa, thank you very much for the $5. Amazing. It's amazing that you gave me that $5. $5 amazing.
it was too funny because he was saying,
oh wait, fuck. I should probably change the title of my stream. Because right now it's the N-word, I guess, and I'm watching a video of a black person. Maybe. Hayden here, and thanks for the $2. Ciancius, don't feel bad if you don't send me as many donations. I really do appreciate the Patreon support. Oh God, can we just watch the fucking video?
and maybe that was a white one. Amazing, huh? The police did nothing at first, folks, but put on a curfew to reduce looting.
Cosmothulu, thank you for the $2. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
This went on apparently for quite some time, and the Wilmington Police
Look at
Department
the black shop.
knew about it and decided not to do anything about it because they say, according to a tweet,
where the fuck are these donations coming from? Jesus. Non-authority, thanks for the $2. Will this be the first stream you set to unlisted rather than delete? Moments like these are why I love stream VODs. I promise I won't delete this. It'll go right to my unlisted stream VOD playlist. I love you, non-authority.
we are aware of the looting occurring at the Family Dollar store at 13th and Greenfield. Unfortunately, management has asked us not to intervene at this time. The police department tweeted just a short time ago that because of the looting, they were extending the curfew in that area beginning an hour ago at 5 o'clock Eastern time through 6 a.m. tomorrow. That's one way, apparently, to try and keep people off the streets.
Jesus Christ, what is this fucking... What's 144 divided by 2? 72p? What is this, 36p? What is this, 18p? What is this, 9p?
And out of that store and other stores.
Can't you hear the blast now? I'm making May. A hurricane coming. Get ready. We going shopping, girl.
Kevin Phillips, thank you for the $1. What was that, sir?
Can't you hear the blast now? I'm making May. A hurricane coming. Get ready. We going shopping, girl.
Hey, well, hurricane coming, but on shopping good. Is this how black people talk? Look, I try to spend time out of North Carolina when possible. Is this the vaunted North Carolinian black dialect?
Can you hear that, Joe? Can you hear the black people say, "Make it, man, we going shopping"?
Can you just imagine, like, do you think it's bad to make fun of his quite obvious speech impediment, Lamau? No, not even slightly. He plays up his speech impediment. He plays up. He talks about how he's dumb. He has a mug with amazing on it. He looks stupid in his own fucking profile picture. Nah, fuck it. Nah, you can make fun of him for everything, okay? I make fun of him for being stupid, and I think that he probably has some kind of, like, level of fucking mental retardation. And I mean that in the medical sense. I really do genuinely, sincerely believe that Jesse Lee Peterson is cognitively deficient in some manner. But nah, fuck that. I'm gonna make fun of his voice. But also, like, can we, like, this isn't even about the voice he has. He's making fun of black people. Can you imagine if a fucking white fucking radio personality was like, yeah, the blacks are at it. Looting in North Carolina again. Can't you hear them blacks? Hey, hurricane's coming. Gonna go shopping again. Haha, ain't that what they sound like, Rickus? Like. Black people who engage in this kind of criticism enable racism so much. No. You have to understand. Listen, please. Jesse Lee Peterson is a racist. He hates black people. He's a white supremacist. He talks about how he literally talks about how on a spiritual level, black people are morally deficient compared to white people. He isn't just like some hapless wit who happens to enable racist rhetoric. He is actually a white supremacist. He's not. You don't need to go easy on him.
I do want to add, it wasn't like this growing up, folks. Black people at one time were a noble people.
Liz, black people were at one time a noble people. No. Please, go as hard as you want on JLP. Please.
They truly believed in God. Today they don't. Not all, but most.
Black people.
All right. And the last soundbite. This is from Fox News. Raw video of the looting. Look at that. I want you to just watch the blacks.
Just watch the blacks.
These are the people that you want to run your government.
These are the people you want to run your government.
I have to speak because it's a B-roll.
Can you stop for a second?
Oh, no,
I can't. I really don't want to stop.
I don't blame you. Isn't that something? Amazing.
Amazing.
The lady, like that white woman. Can you just stop for a second?
This guy unironically does believe that black people shouldn't be in positions of power. 100%.
The white man. I ain't no fool. Amazing. This is the B-roll. Fox News police arrested 5 in North Carolina on Saturday. And white people, this is
Jeff Stewart, thank you for the $1, my friend.
why you need to speak up. You need to tell black people the truth. It's not about racism. No such thing as racism.
No such thing as racism. Like,
It's a made-up lie.
It's a made-up lie.
It's a made-up lie.
You gotta say it twice.
No such thing has never existed.
Racism has never existed. LS3 is bad. Thank you for the £1. I really appreciate it. Racism has never existed.
Children of the Lie made that word up so black people can go wild.
Children of the Lie made that word up so black people can go wild. Jesse Lee Peterson is a fundamentalist, and he calls all left-leaning people, or like Democrats, or he calls everyone this, children of the lie, like they were born of Satan's deceit or something. So he calls them children of the lie, of the lie. Your mic is still popping today? I didn't hear any popping when I went over the VODs. But okay, I'll take a look into it.
And they can use blacks for their own personal gain. My producers tell me that when that woman told the man to stop, he like, no, 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 no. It's like driving through the safari. This is a sad commentary.
Let's just go over that one again, shall we?
No such thing has never existed. The children of the lie made that word up so black people can go wild, and they can use blacks for their own personal gain. My producers tell me that when that woman told the man to stop, he like, no, 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 no. It's like driving through the safari. This is a sad commentary for black Americans, but it is what it is. And we need to be honest about it in hopes that it would change. Because blacks don't get the truth in their homes, in their churches, in their schools. And they have been told by the Democratic Party and the liberal media and the rhino Republicans, black people, you can act and be any kind of way you want. We're going to reward you. It's not your fault. It's just old white man fault. And now blacks have gone.
How's he doing on Patreon? How's old man JLP doing on Patreon? Hey! That ain't that bad. I was expecting this to be way worse. I was expecting this to be fucking like $6,000 a month. Guys, we're catching up. We're catching up. We're getting there. Aiden here, and thanks for the $2. JLP is definitely going to the gulag. Oh, definitely. Definitely. What was this video that was recommended?
Blacks don't get the truth in their homes, but this is a sad commentary. Honest about it.
Give me the thing.
Of the lie made that word up so black people can go wild, and they can use blacks for their own personal gain.
Wait.
My producers tell me that blacks for their own personal gain.
Don't get. Okay, I don't care. Huh. Would you mind doing a reaction to Big Think's What Makes Someone Gay? I feel they're basing their science on stereotypes concocted by society rather than biology. Is Spurg out a slur? Yeah, it's a light slur, but it's a slur. Yeah, because Asperger's and stuff. PragerU when I'm thinking I'm not doing PragerU. I didn't do any third worldism either. Bitch, please, thank you so much for the $10. Let me see. Big Think, what makes someone gay? Okay. Is Big Think like a reactionary channel? I'll take a look at this in the future. Third worldism. The left is so boring. Well, I don't want someone whose name is R Traps Gay in my chat anyway. Get the fuck out of here. MK11 slavery thing? No, I have not. Third worldism refers to a particular branch of typically Maoist thought which pertains to the power relationships between the developed world and the developing world and so on and so forth. It's big. It's a big fucking complicated meme. Will you upload this? Yeah, I'll upload part of it. And I will also not delete the VOD. All right. I'm tired and hungry. I love you guys very much. It has been a phenomenally productive taken out behind the waist process. Oh, okay. It has been a delightfully productive stream, and I really, really appreciate the support, guys. Sorry that I'm ending the stream after only, what has it been, 3 hours and 10 minutes? But I'm hungry and grumpy. So, listen, that N-word debate took a lot out of me. If you guys want longer streams, don't burn my fucking brain out with an hour-and-a-half argument where people are calling me racist in chat, okay? That shit'll burn me out real quick. Okay. Damn, just got here. Well, good thing the VOD will be in the thing. Yeah. Stay mad, you little fucking cucks. You want Doyle? Yeah, you little fucking bitch babies. Are you gonna watch PragerU? Yep, tomorrow. Goodbye. Amazing.